Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and welcome to episode 205, cockflexing early, of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. Today, I'm joined by Cognito Jones and the great Xbox. How are you doing today, sir?
This is an Xbox. Nah, what's up, man? It's been a tiring week, but a good tiring week. You know, obviously, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of things I had to readjust and pivot because obviously what we will be talking about later, you know what I'm saying? I had to put a lot of hours in last minute. I had to pull myself off of other things. And then, you know, me and you were talking, obviously, it's been a rough year. This has been a rough year. And on a personal level, I'm thankful for a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But this year has been rough. And I'm coming down that, me and you talked about last week, like this, that last month, December, where it's just like,
it's always tough.
Bro, so many things you got to get done. It's all packed in. It hasn't been, I got to be full disclosure, this has not been a great health is wealth month.
Oh, dude.
Bro.
It's been a wrap for me.
It's been, I as the advocate, I have to be honest and forthcoming with my transgressions. I have been sinning. I have not been being the best.
Sitting.
I have not been eating. I have not gone to gym in like 4 to 5 days, which is
takeouts looking mad nice more often than it should be.
Bro,
the leftovers are hitting. Like it's been bad. Yeah.
The only thing that saved me is for the birthday, they got me the air fryer. Right. So the air fryer has come in a little clutch to prevent me completely.
So crucial.
So good.
Yeah.
I had the chicken with the shrimp, and I got the dual joint, and they got me the ninja joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got Cognito, the ninja.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Air fryer. Shout out to Rand out there, though. He been pushing me. I always push him with health stuff, but he pushed me. He's like, Cog, this is the best decision. You know, he's like, you're a single guy. I know your schedule. I know your tribe. Like, bro, I'm telling you. So he's like, I'm going to make a video showing you how easy it is. And I was like, yo,
I love Red.
Red's so good. Yo, shout out to Red. He really got incentivized me to stop my BS, you know, and get that going. Because, you know, nutrition is a key part of this. So you got that. So other than that, I was falling off the wagon.
Sure.
So I just got to get through December. Through December. Then I owe it to myself to rest, shut down, and then kind of rejuvenate and then attack next year, 2025. I'm hoping for a better 2025 on the personal life, on the career stuff, and then get back on track. But other than that, yes, I am blessed and I'm happy to be doing the other things that I'm doing and stuff like that. What's been going on with you, man?
Oh, bro, it's so funny you bring that up because I'm legging it out this year too. I've been in survival mode for the last month and change now. Just, you know, obviously after everything that happened with me in the end of October, it just wiped me out emotionally, and I'm in a much better state now. But there's a lot of pain and just I need some R&R and I need some time off. And so usually you kind of ease into that, but instead I've had to ramp up because I decided I want a month off, dude. I need some real time. I never give myself that. And so, you know, shout out to Dan, our new editor, Josh. My wife's helping. I'm doing some of the edits, but dude, we've stocked up a ton of videos. It's going to be a ridiculous amount. But I'm planning once our final Duke of the year is done, which is the week of the 16th. I have one more thing I'm recording with a couple of popular YouTubers I'm very excited about. And then I'm done from I think December 17th, 18th until I'm outside of Duke, which I'll do in the opening weeks of January till January 20th or something like that. You know,
that, bro. You need that.
But I feel you on that because it's funny. This has been one of the best years of my life, and I'm trying not to lose focus of that because this last couple of months have been a personal hell of just the emotional turmoil. But I've done a lot of healing in this last month. But now I know what my body needs. It's okay, I've taken care of everything from the business to personal life and just feeling good about where things are at, but to I need to break away from the source of a lot of that pain, which is getting on camera constantly and recording and creating. It's I need to just rejuvenate. a little bit, but dude,
Mhm.
it's like, I remember like, I'm talking like it's forever ago, but like coming home from the Gamescom in LA event and just feeling like kind of on this high of like, this is what I dreamt of, bro. Like I'm about to get married soon. I'm going to these events. I feel like I'm doing a really good job. We run a great show here. Like everything from career to personal life was perfect. And it's very easy to lose focus of that happiness. Like, you know, you had that moment of like, oh, I always felt content, but like, this is the first time I felt like really happy, like in a while. And it felt, I was, the biggest thing I struggled with after all of this was like, I felt robbed of that. Like I got to experience that emotion for such a short period of time before I was like fucking cratered down into the earth.
Stone him
and so
seize him.
I don't mean it as like a sob story, but just to be transparent in that I am in the same boat as you of like, I have a lot of blessings this year. I'm not losing focus of that, but you and I both just need to get away for a little bit. That little getaway. You know, we were very fortunate to talk about the games we do and do the show we do. We'll never lose sight of that, but it's been a year, dude. It's been a year. And you know, for us, like we're just finalizing our pitch for our video game. So like 2025 is going to be huge for me in the terms of just like reassessing and just like looking at like what this game can become. And it's like the whole team's really excited. So we're just, you know, I get the opportunity to kind of rebalance things finally. Like, okay, like can I now, instead of putting like 5 videos a week out on Mr. Matty, can I dial it back to like 3 or 2 a week, do more quality stuff, more thoughtful pieces on things I'm like very passionate about, and kind of save the industry commentator side of myself for like here on Duke. And these are the thoughts going through my head, right? It's like, how can I reorganize if our game had a budget? So don't want to put the cart before the horse, but it's like a very exciting time in that sense. So it's easy to lose focus, but yeah, we're pumped to be here. It's just been it's been a long year. This has definitely felt like one of the longest years of my life. It's just how much is going on, how much work we've been doing, all that fun stuff. So yeah, man, good times. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Finding Duke, an Xbox podcast, episode 205. If you're here, thank you. Of course, we also want to have you be part of our Patreon if you're interested. Patreon.com/laststandmedia. You get early ad-free access there for this show every Thursday. You also get early ad-free access to Sacred Symbols, to Punching Up, to Summonstein. You also get access to Sacred Symbols Plus, which we just did, as I talked about last week, a spoiler cast review discussion. Myself, Hogue, and Gene talked for about 3 hours on Dragon Age the Veilguard. So if you want a nice conversation on everything that game has to offer, from its companion missions to the main story to the choices and the future of BioWare, go ahead and check that out. And then, yeah, we appreciate you just being here for this ride. Cog, we have some Health is Wealth write-ins. The audience is picking us up, even though we're sitting on our butts here. Greg Albee is the first Health is Wealth write-in. He says, Health is Wealth update. Over the last year and a half, I've been working to get various blood test levels back into healthy ranges and lose some weight in my gut, and I come bearing great news. After switching to a pescatarian diet, I've never been a snacker for what it is worth, and performing 3 days a month of dry fasting, I've lost 40 pounds from my midsection, and my LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, is down from 131 to 79, with the normal range being sub 100. My triglycerides, also known as the fat in the blood, are down from a high of 263 to 68, with the normal range being sub 150, and so on. This is a small example set for the sake of keeping the write-in pithy, but my levels for all tests are in normal range. I'm 36 and was skinny fat for the last decade. Though I could use some more exercise, diet is a major factor in overall health, and I hope others can use this story as inspiration. Stay well. And yeah, this is such a key component, bro. Like, so there's just these, I usually have great self-discipline, but there've been these stretches this year where, oh, I'm not exercising, screw it, I'm going to go have this candy, or I'm just going to get a little takeout. Like I usually have such good discipline, but I've noticed I've become a little bit of an emotional eater this year. And I will say credit to Greg. Yeah. I tried fasting this year, and I noticed that my eating habits changed with that. Like I went a full 24 hours without food, and now I like have a different, like, oh my God, when I see food, I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Like it's like I still have the self-control to not go overboard, but there's a level of like, oh, this is way more important to me than it ever was before, because now I know what it's like without it.
Appreciation.
Yeah, like there's this appreciation that's back. So shout out to Greg for his willpower, ability to keep that pescatarian diet in check. Proud of you, man. Congrats.
Yeah, shout out to Pescatarian. I'll be King is on that. He's on a Pescatarian. He subscribes to it big time. And shout out to Greg doing the blood work though.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. That is so important. Lowering what his triglycerides. I love that type of stuff. That to me is proper data analysis. Like you got to treat your body like the games industry. You got to know how it's trending. You know what I'm saying? You got to know it. He's known like Greg, especially men. We don't do our blood work and we're afraid of going to answer the bell. We got to answer and see what's going on. So shout out to Greg. That is an amazing health as well update. While I'm struggling right now, you just inspired me. I got to get back on it. I got to do my blood work again this week.
That's one thing I want to do at the top of 2025 is like get that full checkup.
Yeah, you need that panel. You need that blood panel. Facts.
Blood results, heart, everything, bro. It's like every couple of years I do like a full, I prepared the funds. I'm like, okay, I know this is a little bit of paranoia kicking in. It's going to cost me, but like, let's just get everything looked at. And it's always giving me peace of mind.
A couple years. You got to every year that joke.
Every year. Okay.
Yes, true. Bro. Every year.
I got the big 3-0 next year. So I think I might have to. You're right.
Every year, bro. I'm telling you, man, the body change. You'll be surprised. And there's times where I'll tell you the last thing on blood. It's weird because there's times where I think I am like, yo, I'm doing okay. And you're like, no, you're not. This is still high. And this is different things. Yo, one time they was telling me, yo, your kidney function just a little bit. Yo, hey, look, too much this. I'm like, all right, cool, fair enough. And then you try to make adjustments. And then I have the honest question. And after said adjustments, if it is still not work, you have to now listen to the doctor now. You know what I'm saying? Because you tried to make the self corrections on your own. So yeah, please with men. And then me, obviously 30-something, I'm 40-something. Well, my pocket is blood work because, and also men, we got to do the cancer screenings, bro. And we're going to get into that. But yeah, we got to. We are the worst and we wait too long. That's a big deal, especially in my family.
Paul Terry's our next write-in. Hey, Dukes, 52-year-old gamer from the UK here with a health is wealth message. I've been ignoring some bowel-related symptoms for a few years because I've been too busy with work to get checked out by the doctor. But after they got worse earlier this year, I finally did something about it. And to cut a long story short, I have a form of blood cell cancer called myeloma. Fortunately, we caught it early, and although it can't be cured, it is treatable. So with exercise, a healthy diet, and with some luck, I have several years of symptom-free life ahead of me. I never imagined my first writing would be about having cancer rather than my gaming history, which began in 1978, playing Space Invaders in the arcade. But guys, please take it from me. Do not ignore any warning signs and do make time to speak with your doctor if you start to notice anything out of the ordinary. Look after yourselves and stay safe. Keep up the great work. I love this community and you guys smash it every week. Thank you, Paul, for your writing. Cog, take it away. Yeah,
man. Shout out to Paul, man. First of all, OG gamer, I respect it. Once you said Space Invaders, you're in the 78 pocket. I could talk to this gentleman. I could talk to this. He can speak my language, that OG language. And we used to put that quarter on there and play that Space Invader and Defender and all that. But no, look, real talk. This is I'm glad that at least I look at it this way. I know you did hit with the news on the myeloma, but at least you got the information, right? And the quicker you get the information is the quicker you can now start to respond. And then, obviously it's treatable, right? And then as a person who deals with gut health specifically, right? This is extremely important and very close to me because again, you have to pay attention to the warning signs of the body. Sometimes things a little off, you're like, and you try to ignore it, right? We try to push through it. Oh, it's nothing. And it just adds
changes in habits, you mean? Like that sort of thing?
Changes in habit, but also just like sometimes the body just gives little weird. So you ever just walk around one day, you just got like a random pain for no reason. And your mind is like, okay, that's weird. But as men, we like, and you push through it. But once it starts to add up, those are the signs, we got to get things checked out. And the other thing that I probably one of the elephants in the room, and I think this is also a factor why men don't do it, is that we got to be honest, the way the country is and the way things are right now, as far as health insurance and the economy and stuff like that, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive. Let's just be real. A lot of it is like, I just can't afford to check right now.
I used to check way more often when I was younger, just simply because of the insurance I had versus what I have now.
Yeah.
Totally different story.
And it does influence. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. That does influence the decision. And, I just recently maybe about a couple months, played for a blood panel that, you know, I had to come out of my insurance. I had to come out of pocket because they were like, this is not covered. But I knew my body, something was off. And I was like, I just need to know what this is or make sure I am okay. They gave me a full blood panel. They checked things out. And then they were like, okay, you just might want to check your kidney function a little bit just to see what's going on there. And they referred me to nothing. They just said slightly elevated kind of thing. So again, these are the things we got to do as men. I know it's not easy. I know things are expensive sometimes, but especially if you got insurance, ain't no excuse. Get your behind out there, get your blood work, and go to the doctor and find out what's going on. But shout out to Paul for actually doing the due diligence there.
Yeah. It sucks to hear the news, Paul, but we thank you for looking out for the community and sharing this with us. It definitely, I already had the plan, but it's like you see this sort of stuff, you're like, yeah, you just never want to take that risk, right? Like
never, bro.
You know,
life's too short. It can like that.
Yeah. So thank you, Paul, for writing in. We hope you're doing well. Keep us posted. Black Magic Fuckery, the turmeric bussy. Right? Saying, oh, there we go. That's that turmeric support. Hey, boys, real talk. What's with hate comments? I see god-awful takes online all the time, but it virtually never occurs to me to write a vicious comment letting them know. It just seems like a massive waste of time and energy. Am I in the minority here? If not, who is writing this shit? 12Es, bots, and the mentally ill? I'll hang up and listen now. Have a Elden Ring remastered exclusively for PS6 and the original has been delisted kind of day. I never really thought of it this way, right? Like I never thought of we take in so much, you know, we create so much, you know, you're always live every Sunday. So you're just so much input. You never really think of the process though, right? At least I don't. I never think of the process of like when someone tells me like, go kill yourself, go fuck yourself, whatever it may be. Like, what does this person look like? What is the environment they're in? Like, what are they feeling when they're typing it? Like, are they laughing? Are they kind of like, yo, imagine this dude fucking sees this? Or is he like, yeah, I fucking hate this guy, man. Like, or like, you know, I just had a bad day. Like, what happened beforehand? I never really went into the process of the hate comment in my head. I'm just like, what's the before and after? Like, you know, just text me. He's like, yeah, dude, kill yourself. And then like he goes and grabs like a banana from his fridge or something like that. Or he just goes and plays Call of Duty. Like, it's like, yeah, that's like, check that off for the day. Yeah. Like, that's done.
Make sure Maddie and Cog die. You got to get that off right quick.
Like, I just never really thought about that. I don't know. Have you gotten into the psyche of the hate comment before?
Oh, yeah. I remember I'm the original. When I joined LSM, I'm the originator of the 10 tweet rule, right? Yeah. And basically, because the 10 tweet rule tells you everything. Mm-hmm. You know, it tells you how that person operates, or the 10 comment rule on YouTube, mm-hmm. right? If that person, look, we're in an era where I do feel there are too many echo chambers, right? And you do need people to say, yo, Cog, Maddie, I disagree. Yeah. Right. And this is why. But it's how you state it, right? And if you notice, in the 10 comment, this is how you expose them. Like that, you look at every single thing is attacking someone, or the number one indicator though, personal disrespect. You are not eloquent enough to get your point off without name calling.
We had a write-in this week that I saw. I was like, you almost got in the show, but you didn't handle it well. It's just it's that little level.
That shows me your emotionality is weak because you can't eloquate a thought without being disrespectful. You're not capable. And then a lot of things, and this is on a personal level, and this is not to disrespect, but a lot of it is, we're just a reflection of something that's going on that you got going on, and this is your lash out mode. Again, a lot of, like, if you look at the 10 tweet, it may not be like every 10 tweet is about Maddie and Cog, right? Or comments about Maddie and Cog, but it's about angry at someone else, angry at this, disrespecting this person. And to me, it's like, maybe you're not happy right now with what's going on in your circle. And this is, for whatever reason, we the face of your frustration.
Send it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. It's a lot of people dealing with a lot of stuff. So I don't ever take it too personally, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. Sure. My only thing is, again, the disrespect. Because at the end of the day, if people are in front of each other, we ain't going to talk like that. You know it and not know it, right? So that's what it is. That's the sad part. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I just laugh. I guess the only time it'll move me to respond, and it's obviously never with disrespect, is if it's someone that I already have rapport with, that I've met in real life. That, you know, and if that person says something and you're like, okay, you know what? let me get in front of that because it's someone I actually know. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And then maybe that person may be owed a conversation. Sometimes it's not all, everything's not all for Twitter. Sometimes it's like, yo, let's do the real man thing. Yeah, right? Let me call your number. What's going on here? You know how many situations I diffuse? Yeah. All the time. I've diffused, and not to brag, I have diffused so many things behind the scenes between a lot of people's favorite content creators. Because I'm just like, look, I know both of you. You guys are good people. It may be signals crossed here. Let's see if we can fix it.
Isn't it exhausting?
It is.
I am the diffuser too. Like in my life, I feel like I am the diffuser of just so much shit. And it's like, if you don't get involved, it's going to get worse and it won't get solved.
And it won't get fixed.
It's so like,
it is.
I've been having that thought lately of just like, okay, like I got to get involved again. Like, it's like you're the dad. Almost.
Yes.
You're always the dad. It's like, no wonder we don't want kids.
Bro, I already have kids.
Yeah, I literally do. Like
my community, my content creator friends, they are all my kids. Everyone comes to me. Like, and again, me and you share this. Like, I am literally the diffuser, the dad, and people, and I listen, I take pride in it. I take pride in the fact that people trust me enough to be like, I'm coming to you with something that really is heartfelt. And, to me, the first thing I say, like, bro, I really appreciate you trusting me with this. Second thing, it stays here. 3, how can I help? You know what I'm saying? If I can help in some way. Now, sometimes I can't help. Sometimes my bandwidth is too much, right? And I have to be honest. Sometimes I have to be more vocal about my no, because I'm not good sometimes at just no and being, disruptive in that way. But I tell them, and then from there, we take it from there. But it's to your point, that could get exhausting.
Because sometimes, that's where compassion kicks in, right? Like you just know, and this is not putting me, certainly I'm no fucking saint. Right. But I do think I have like an emotional intelligence that is very much above average, just based on the people I've been surrounded with my entire life. Like there's just things that I think have come easier to me on that, like, again, emotionally speaking, than others where like even family older than me, like I've had to be the one guiding them despite being like half their age. And like that moment of like, how do you not know this? But you just understand, like, it just doesn't click that easily. And you just got to have that compassion to be like, by showing them, maybe they'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said the coolest comment, I'm going to put them out just yesterday, and they asked me for something. I'm like, look, I'm in the middle of embargo season. I'm like, I got to be honest. I don't know when, but do me a favor, remind me, and I'll try my best. That's what I told this person. So the person reminded me, and it just happened I had a pocket to do this favor for said person. And the person wrote back something really cool, like, I don't really know you like how I know my other friends in real life, but you've done more for me than my real life friends of 20 years. And I was like, wow. Yeah, and dude. I was like, it meant a lot.
It's real. Yeah.
It hit different. I was like, I appreciate that.
Even in it's like that human element kicks in. You're like, this is such a pain. Like I just gotta, like, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if I have the bandwidth. Like that kind of reward of seeing someone relieved always pulls me in. It's like, I know I can make a difference, and that's what really matters at the end of the day. Absolutely. So as for what's with hate comments, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I remember when I was younger, I'm sure there's fucking stupid things I put out there. I wouldn't put it past me, but like, getting older, it's like, I think Cog put it perfectly. Got to use your words in the right way, right?
The right way.
Self-expression. Mm-hmm. All right. Dylan's our last write-in. We'll get into the short amount of news we got this week. He writes, hello, fellas. With the Game Awards happening next Thursday, I was wondering if you guys think there will be any major Xbox announcements at the show. It seems like every game that's been teased has been shown off in one way or another, so I don't see any major games showing up unless a re-reveal of Everwild or Final Fantasy 16 coming to Xbox is announced. Do you guys think anything shows up? Thanks as always, and have an A1 day. Cog, any theories on this one?
Yeah, I think they're being coy. There is a part of me, I kind of like this energy from Xbox, where it's just like, what's the expression? You know what I'm saying? Don't overpromise, overdeliver kind of thing.
Don't overpromise and underdeliver. You don't want
to. One of those. I always butcher.
Some shit like that.
I'm always bad with expressions like that. Like
I've gotten really good at them because Laylee will forget them and say them wrong, and she's like, "What is it again?" And I'm like, "Okay, I gotta brush up on these now." Xbox
Bro,
has a habit of overpromising and underdelivering. I think that's what you were looking for.
Yeah, thank you. See, you saved me out. So my thing is, like I like this energy. Be quiet, and then because in the past they'd be like, "You guys want to tune in for blah blah blah. Make sure you tune in for blah blah blah." Right, and then we tune in, and we be like, "Man, that was some controller announcement. Man, that was weak." I like this. So I do think they got something. If I had to guess, I think we've kind of alluded at this at Past Dukes. It's gonna be, I feel we're gonna get that Wukong moment. If I had to guess, Pinson, we get the Wukong because Wukong has been saying, okay, they've got content. I think what's the perfect time to say you got the Series X and the Series S versions with the DLC available with a date. I think on the Xbox Game Studio side, they tend to leave that stuff for directs. So unless it's hardware, which they have shown at a Game Awards, or a third-party announcement, that's what I'm going to lean with right now. I'm going to go either one of those, maybe too early for the hardware, but they've shown it. I mean, the Series X did debut at the Game Awards. We cannot, discount that they did value that platform for that. But I would go like third-party stuff, whether it be something existing that hasn't been on the platform, or, hey, I mean, we'll talk about Square soon, but, maybe I'm going to hold off on them.
Sure.
But maybe some other game that we'll find out that'll have Xbox ties to.
Yeah, I think Xbox will take this opportunity to detail 2025 a little bit more. Okay. Right now we know about Avowed, and that's really off the top of the head in the terms of those major pillars. Yeah, like these don't have dates though, right? Like,
sure, you mean dates around?
Yeah, I'm talking dates to be specific. I think it will be things we know, but I think it's going to be like, I could see Doom getting a date. I could see South of Midnight getting a date, and sort of setting the stage for when Developer Direct kicks around. It's like, oh, okay, like these games are coming this year. Let's see what Xbox is cooking. I can see them setting it up that way. Famous last words. I feel like I anticipate something more quiet from them. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. There's no rumors. There's no leaks. As we record right now, we're 9 days or 8 days out. So that could always change. But taking a look at kind of like even Reddit gaming leaks and rumors, Insider Gaming, just seeing like, is anything happening? No one's really scraped anything significant up. In fact, a lot of the chat has been like, is PlayStation holding an event? Is Bloodborne coming back? Like, that's been the thing I've mostly seen when it comes to like rampant fan speculation. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like Xbox has the opportunity here to surprise because they have been quiet. At the same time, they also, as we'll talk about later in the show, have a really big exclusive, even if it's a timed exclusive, a big exclusive that's dropping. So maybe that just has trailers at the show, but I think they'll be there in some way, shape, or form. They have too much happening in 2025, I think, to not be there. But I don't think it'll be. Just again, I don't see any, I should say, I don't think, because I'm not going off feelings. I don't see any evidence right now suggesting like, oh, it's going to be an off the wall announcement that none of us expected, right? Like, if that happens, I guess we just won't be able to see it coming. Yeah. That's the best thing we can say about it.
Some of those are the best.
but look, man, Xbox is a leaky company.
Yes.
So I'm just like, if I'm not hearing anything, then I'm guessing that it's not happening, right? Like we knew about like what was happening with a Marvel announcement and Xbox leading into last year's show, right? Like that was a big thing. So there was a lot of stuff that usually leaks ahead of time for them. So if it's stuff we already know about, I imagine that's why it hasn't leaked. So
question, where was the Blade announcement at the Game Awards?
Yeah, because the big debate was no Xbox imagery was there.
Right. But they came out on stage. You're right.
Yeah. We had to like talk about all of that.
Yes.
Was that last year? Oh boy,
bro, time is flying.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Blade. I think it was last year.
Yeah, because I remember Digga coming out, and I remember like a Marvel exec.
It was last year.
Together,
okay.
And Digga bust out the copperware or something. He did.
It was last year because he threw that kick.
Yeah, he threw a kick.
That kick was nice.
Ooh, that boy still got you with no smoke with Digga. Yeah. No doubt.
All right. Well, those are the write-ins. We'll see what happens at the Game Awards. We'll time out our show with that, so you can look forward to that. First bit of news is a rumor. I guess we could talk about this when it comes to the Game Awards. This comes from McStasis, who has been the source of many an Xbox rumor this year, especially, and a lot of them dealing with Game Pass, and those Game Pass rumors have been accurate. who's saying, now Forza Horizon 5 has already been ported to PS5, but its release was delayed, not canceled this past summer. However, they consider it a game that can do quite well. It will arrive. I don't know when, but it will arrive, end quote. So obviously grain of salt with any sort of rumor like this, but I feel like this is a pretty obvious selection, right? Like the money that could be made here. And that's all Xbox cares about right now. So why wouldn't you? But you're kind of giving me that, Cog's looking down his nose at me right now. Give me that evil anime villain kind of glance like, yeah, you think. So what are we thinking, Cog? Forza Horizon 5 to PlayStation. Any feelings here? Is the burger, fries, and shake going to start making the jump?
I think this is funny because you've been on this train. You've put this energy out. Like you be like, I'm telling you, Forza Horizon. And look, to your defense, Phil just made the damn statement. Like there is no red line or whatever the statement is, right? So to your defense, you looking good right now. As far as, you were early on this one, as far as like predicting and stuff like that. Me, not that it can't happen at all. I just feel like, I think they don't know. I think they're still figuring when, where, and how, and things are going to go on. And I think there is a part of them that is hesitant with burger, shake, and fries on some level, even though they know money is there. We know Forza will sell like hotcakes, for the most part on PlayStation 5. I'm not stupid. Like this is no emotionality. They shouldn't have it. No, this is not that. All I'm saying is, like I've always been consistent, is once you do this and a Halo you have now entered a different zone, right? Yeah. And now it's an identity thing. And that's my concern. Again, that's why I'm like, not that I worry about it. I'm just generally curious on what that effect has on the brand. Yeah. These are what your brands are known for. And we've never seen that before, unless, we've only seen it when Sonic is over there flirting, Sega was dead. Like, all right, we get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no more systems for, like, this is uncharted territory for brand iconography. That Forza car, that Spartan armor, and that Gears of War, that's iconography of what you think about Xbox. And I still don't think, in my opinion, I'm not sure that they're not going to do it, but I still think they are hesitant to do it, because if it was the case, you just go ahead. And I still see some conflicting messages in turn. That's what I say. But hey, the day that it happens, you were one of the first to say it. You know what I'm saying? You were like,
I just feel
makes the first sense. You said it makes the most sense. And it does. I'm not business-wise, it does. Halo, it does. I get it. I'm just worried about the soul. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
There.
The soul's going, bro. That's the thing. I've just I've phoned it in. I'm like, the soul's gone. The soul's going. But I think if you want to keep that soul intact for as long as possible, Forza is a good starting point of the burger, fries, shake combo, right? Because Gears and Halo caused the shitstorm. Yeah. I think Forza, despite its long-term attachment, I'm sorry, Forza Bros. I'm sorry. But despite its long-term attachment, it is not the sexy IP, I like to say, right? I would call these the sexy games, right? The ones that the hardcore get all up in arms about. I think if Forza jumps, it's going to signify something for the hardcore Xbox faithful who know that. But I think for most people who, let's be real, talk about Xbox but don't play it much in the ecosystem,
ton of those.
It's not going to be a big deal. They'll be like, oh, that racing game, yeah. And like, despite it having like 40 plus million players, I think on Horizon 5 or floating close to that number. Or, I think at a certain point, this also makes sense because they're probably capping out. Like they're probably like, okay, we're reaching the maximum amount of players between PC and Xbox we can reach. This should make the jump. I could see a world just based on this rumor where they're like, we have the port done. And what Cog is saying is kind of true. And that's like, maybe not yet. But if we want an extra beat next year for our PlayStation fans out there, now we got something to kind of fill in the gaps, that sort of thing.
No, fair.
I can see them doing that. Nintendo does many projects that they just sit on. And I think if you got that kind of capital like Microsoft does, it's like, why wouldn't you do that? And just, we got to delay this. Oh, we can fill it in with this. Right. And like start playing and moving these pieces on the chessboard so that your main exclusives or whatever they end up being years down the line are getting the most time they need, in the terms of like delay, quality, focus, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, no, fair enough. This is going to be an interesting year to see if this is the year, right? 2025, excuse me, if that's the year where they do now start to flirt in that capacity. It's interesting time.
Dude,
Dogs sleeping with cats. It's being a wild time, man.
They have moved so quickly this year. I'm like, I if you want to talk surprise announcements at the Game Awards, I feel like one of those surprise announcements could be like a big Xbox game on PlayStation. I don't know what it would be.
Jeff would love it.
But, Jeff, I mean, that's the thing. Jeff would like happily, he'd be like, we got one more announcement for you.
I still can't get over that. That was the funniest. We did that one live. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was so good. All right. Next bit of news here. We're kind of sticking with Xbox because it's going to circle around to one of their upcoming exclusives, I believe. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has had its release date moved up to February 4th. And to twist the knife a little bit, I think Warhorse knows exactly what they're doing right now, because not only did they move up, but they say in the video, now, mind you, this will be public information, as in that they're going to have confirmed announcements, but they say in the video that we're happy to confirm we have a performance mode and a fidelity mode. We're PS5 Pro enhanced. And when he talked about performance mode, Toby went, and I'm sure you guys know what that means, and then laughed. So if it's 60 frames and this is the game that Avowed's going up against, I'm sorry, dude. It's not looking good for Avowed, though. Like, that's 60 frames is going to hurt. That's going to... I shouldn't even talk about it like it might happen. It will happen just based on their wordplay. Just as the time of us recording this, I guess we don't officially have the frame data, but dude, after everything that happened that we talked about last week and now this, I'm getting a little concerned for this game. Oh, you're so quiet right now. I feel so bad.
This is because you put me on game. So I'm like, oh, what's the news? What's going on? Oh, like this is the epitome of meat on the table. This is, we smell blood in the water.
Yeah.
This is, you shaky right now? And then let's be real, like, oh my God, like, you know how much I love the Black Rock. I love Avowed. I don't care what nobody say. We played it. I loved it. Obviously, we got to wait for the finished product. We played a vertical slice. We got to say that, right? But I absolutely love the game, right? Y'all know how I feel about KCD. KCD is my peoples. Shout out to Toby. Shout out to the Warhorse. One of the ironies of this discussion is some of the things that Avowed is getting accused for on a social level or political level, whatever you want to say. We do know Warhorse don't play that. And the way Warhorse's, I would say, ideologies and the way they move, they're going to make the type of game they want to make, and they're very unapologetic in that sense. So you got that.
Has always been super outspoken. And this is going to be, I think, like his crowning moment for a lot of people because they're going to be paying attention more than ever.
And why this is so aggressive is it's like they've been paying attention to all the Avowed news.
Oh, 100%, bro. At a certain point, I thought it was kind of conspiracy theories, but no, like this, I'm like, they're out. They know they can put their foot on their throat right now.
Yeah, this is like, your album come out, my album come out too. Who gonna blink? Now, we saw Avowed do the BattleNet, and we like, okay, up early, okay, cool, more chance to succeed. They are in the same space that right now. This is really KCD. Like, man, I hate seeing my two friends go at it. Like, these are I should say friends, but I'm just saying, like, two of my favorites. Like, I love Warhorse. I love Upsy. I know I ride for the Black Rock. But this is the most aggressive I have ever seen Warhorse. Warhorse, in my opinion, low-key was the underdog because they're not the main. I mean, they did their thing, 8 million, don't get me wrong, but where they came from versus big, Obsidian, Microsoft backing, Xbox backing, let's be real. So this is something now.
Yeah.
And is it wrong for me to say, Val, we're moving in?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
Is it wrong? Because it's like, bro, at this point, the game needs to succeed as best as it can. Now, the problem for Avowed is also the month is dropping. That month there's landmines all over the place. Monster Hunter. What's the other two? It's two more I'm forgetting. That's crazy that month. it is
Assassin's Creed is one.
Assassin's Creed, regardless to concept, it is still Assassin's Creed in a new setting, and the people are setting that people were looking forward to, regardless of the controversy. And it's still Assassin. That's their Call of Duty, so to speak. For
like it still hits some sort of numbers. It's full sales interest. Yeah,
exactly. So this is a tough one. I know. Like I said, as of recording, the next day. Here's the thing. You just nailed it. Shout out to Toby, from Four Horse, good dude.
Yeah, I met him
awesome. The thing with is if he's already giving you and we're going to talk about performance modes. That was the other Achilles heel based on what we broke with the 30. So if they come with we're the world with the role playing that you want to play with, right? Yeah. That ain't got to deal with any other things involved with it. Mm-hmm. We also got the 60 frames, right?
Yeah.
You're playing in the exact space they are. This is a matchup. Now, again, I don't want to be disrespectful because I know what this is the most gangster thing I've ever seen KCD do. This is supreme gangster.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, Avowed is good. Like, bro, people thinking so it's gonna now come down to the Metacritic, how these joints review, but I will say the momentum. I have to be honest, Maddie, the momentum is definitely going Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Big time.
We just cannot deny that.
Big time. And so we've seen with these games as they get really close to launch. I look at like Path of Exile 2 is a perfect example right now. That I talked about with Stalker 2, that ramp up in that final week to a game, people need to pay attention to it. It is like a lightning bolt. They just go up the charts big time. The fact that KCD2 is already seeing that level of momentum this early is a scary sign that Xbox should be paying attention. I'm putting on my business cap for a moment here.
That's what we're doing. Let's go corporate. I love that business.
Right? This is not me speaking as a industry commentator. If I am Xbox and I'm assessing the situation, you had a rogue employee, in a sense, create a shitstorm twice, one dealing with frame rate, one dealing socially. I feel like that, plus I noticed some bugs and some issues in my playthrough. I had fun with Avowed, but I feel like a delay helps only so much. Here's why. Because number one, I don't think you can take the smell of it off the game right now unless an action is taken with, the art director.
Okay.
And that is step one. So that might redeem for some people like, you see us, right? Is the visibility going to help the game? I think the delay can help a little too in polish. But really what they can't escape is that I think a lot of these fantasy games have all gone artistically in a similar direction that gamers are not fully syncing up with, and it's the vibrant fantasy. I think the reason a Path of Exile 2 is really connecting with people is it's gritty, it's dark, and it's mature. And there's been a true hankering from people for that style of content. And so I feel like even if Avowed were to be moved, you can't take that away from it. And honestly, again, I'm not trying to get lost in the sauce here. What I played was enjoyable. I'm like, I don't know if it really needs to change itself. But if we're talking head-to-head competition, maybe removing yourself from that competition and putting yourself in a more isolated spot. I know like Obsidian has sort of been like you can't always release in a spot where it's like, a lot, like there's always something coming out. I'm like, yeah, but there's not 4 AAA games dropping in like a 3-4 week span. That's a lot. And you have the option to kind of go end of Q1. Right now in a pre-Game Awards world, there's a big drop off in like March, really. Like it's really just January and February are the big months. So, that's how I'm kind of looking at it, man. Is like with my cap on.
Yes, what you do.
I move it.
Boy, what we looking at there?
Off the top of the head, I feel like March, April. Kind of.
Okay.
I just feel you need to. If corporate will probably just say we're going to delay it and hope you all forget about it. But if they delay it and take action of some kind, I think it renews a little bit of hope and faith in Avowed. And the other thing is, if they delay it, and the last leg of it is we're going to get 60 frames on console, which to be frank, is kind of sad we're even having this conversation. If KCD can figure it out, but you, the exclusive game on consoles, can't figure it out. Come on, bro. You gotta hit that. You
Different
gotta.
engines. You're a dev. Come on, man.
You gotta hit that. I'm sorry. They gotta hit that. They have to. That is, I think, the bare minimum you could add, unless you're Hellblade. All right, I'm giving Hellblade the pass for obvious reasons.
Okay.
But I think if you are in Avowed, you need your performance mode. All right. Even if it's got to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. No one complained because it was 60 frames. But dude, I may as well have walked up to your HD TV and went with Vaseline like this to it. I was like, here you go. There you go. 60 frames Final Fantasy VII. But no one really gave a shit at the end of the day because it was still 60 frames. So that is my business cap take. I think Xbox should delay the game and be actionable in some way because it's not a blowover type of thing. The rallying cry is there. The anger is there. You now have the champion of the people in Warhorse. What do? Let the game fail?
Fair. No, fair.
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to be objective here. I get it's a shitty spot, but you're just going to let the game fail? You're going to let it do less numbers than your competitors when you have options ahead of you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
What is the statement that corporate Maddie puts out? What do you say? Hey, we were, for more polish or whatever. What do you say? Because there's the flip of this where there's also, I don't know if it's a vocal minority that wants something to happen to the art director, right? That and then because I'm of two thoughts. I get what you're saying. I think you're correct, right? I think that you have to put the pride aside. Warhorse, the momentum, they smell blood in the water, they're coming, and they're literally the medieval fantasy RPG in your exact space.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's so weird about this, right? It's different if it was okay, it's Monster, but they're another genre, so to speak. And you can even though it's still Monster, you don't want to play with them. But you could try to rationalize if you're Xbox, right? But to your point, right? It's in this space. So, or do you even mention the fate of people, or hey, we at Obsidian don't agree with any form of discrimination? Do you or you stay away from the statements and just say, from a technical standpoint, we're just delaying it, we need more time and to give you more polish or what have you? How do you handle the public facing statement if you delay?
I think if you're letting him go or moving his position or whatever, I don't know if you put the guy on blast on that level. I don't know if that, in my heart of hearts, is fair as someone who's been put on blast, right?
I agree.
So there's the human element there. However, I think there is a delicate way of approaching it where you can make it clear that we embrace, say, all gamers. Our games are for everyone. You can blanket statement in a way that feels very, I think, friendly and understandable. Well, we hear you, we understand you, or we don't want a single individual speaking on behalf of the whole team. A way to kind of make it right. Hey, because I just think, if this will be my last political thing.
Let's go.
We're talking the United States, if half the country voted a particular way, you can't continue to pretend certain thoughts and beliefs and feelings just don't exist. Fair. It's going to cripple so many businesses who are going to continue to pretend that's not the case.
Fair.
So I think you got to be honest and be look, some people are feeling very hurt by this. If the shoe was on the foot, I think it would be acknowledged. I think it should be acknowledged here as well. So that would be step one. Now, if it is also, I don't know if you delay it because of that. That's what I'm saying. But if you were delaying it, I think in that statement, extra polish, we're going to hit 60 frames, sweeten it up, right?
Yeah,
but I think there, look, I really think there is a love in this industry for, look at Stalker 2. Look at what I'm no doubt KCD 2 will be, which is you're not perfectly refined. You're a little janky. You're a little rough around the edges, but I get to be very creative in your world space. I get to have these fun stories to tell, these unique experiences. And that works for me more than the archetypical, highly polished, risk-free game. And I think that Avowed actually has a little bit of that spirit, the way you can interact with elements, with the world, the freedom of approach to these environments. It has the stuff. So again, I think it really is on Obsidian and Xbox to come together and be we can't let this game fail because of one individual. Especially, I just believe, and again, I'm not speaking on behalf of them, I believe you owe it to your staff who's put years into this game to not let it sink over one fucking thing.
Facts.
And there should be some sort of action taken. That would be my thought process. But the reason we get back into all of this is a direct, even if someone from Warhorse was like, no, Maddie, like this is not a statement in a way toward Avowed. They know what they're doing. Someone in marketing right now is rubbing their hands going, oh yeah, we got him. Like,
Yo, while you're talking, I'm literally watching the tweet of Toby and Warhorse Studios 5 hours ago. Big news! Kingdom Come Deliverance will arrive February 4th with the release date pushing 1 week forward.
Yeah.
We have, they moving their joint up.
And here's the thing.
Your day.
Remember, we covered this a few weeks ago. Avowed moved up 5 days with the early access.
They said you moved up, we moved up too.
Yeah. Like they are going back and forth, and people, including Xbox, need to acknowledge this is a battle happening.
Yes.
The industry gets along, and I'm sure these groups of people like each other and shake hands and do business together. That's fine. But right now they're fucking competitors and they need to act like it. And right now, one part of the competition is setting up to smoke Avowed. So I don't know, man. It's just so interesting to see like that announcement there. I was like, oh boy. There it is. Like that, dude, like what we are looking at, I'm not trying to oversell, but like in my eyes, what we're looking at is like the build up to the dagger moment. Like it's getting there. It's getting there, you know?
Well said. I like corporate, man. I like how you handled it. you have a future.
I have a future in this.
You have a future. Corporate Cog is looking at you, man. I see some potential. I like how you worded that. You kept it positive. You know, we like everybody, and then you talk about more polish. I like that. That's a good
right. Like if I'm in my corporate bag, it's like what's their thought process? I've never worked in corporate, but I'm assuming based on the shit I see constantly, it's something along the lines of, how do we do this without looking like we're taking egg on the face, right? Like there's an ego to it all. And that would be it. Like we accept everybody. And we're also working on this, by the way. Like, just
yep.
A little side step.
Hit them with the joint, the bad, and then shower them with the why it's good and the reward them why this is going to be a good thing for you.
100%. But I do think with momentum building, they should say something soon. I really think so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Something should hopefully come out. Mm-hmm. Yes, just want to make a clarification. I know during the KCD Avowed fun discussion, which I actually love, I just wanted to clarify. I kept saying the analogy of like, you drop your album on your day, on their day, and I'll drop my album on your day too. And actually it's not exactly the same thing. So for clarity, KCD has said February 4th is going to be their release date, right? Mm. And then we know Avowed was the 18th, with I believe 5 days early access 13. So there's a 2-week window. So I do want to put that out there because it's not exactly that they're in close proximity, right? For sure. But it's not exactly the same day. So I just wanted to clarify that. And we'll see if the 2 weeks, makes a difference or not. And if that allows people to, make a decision or not, or if that gives some people who are a fan of both enough time to figure out like, hey, maybe I can do this with a 2-week little window between. I'm very curious, but I did want to clarify that KCD did not jump on the exact same day as they did. Because I made it seem like it's a joke in hip hop that whenever Nas dropped, like there's a silent beef between Nas and Jay-Z. And then whenever Nas drops an album, Hov decides to drop his album on the same day. He's been known to do. So this is not that. And I just wanted to give Warhorse as if they were being super disrespectful to Obsidian. That's sure. Not that. I just wanted to clarify.
All right. Next up here, Stalker 2. Just quick update here. A new patch is out with 650 fixes. Actually, more than that. Another thing that was interesting is they were talking about their A-Life 2.0, which was a feature that got cut from the game that they're trying to patch in. They showed a whole documentary on Stalker 2 called War Games at a panel, and then the director of the studio had spoken a bit about why A-Life 2.0 got cut, and it just said that it was like massively bugged. Like it was just really not functioning at all. So I think it'll be a little bit before we actually see it, but nonetheless, Stalker 2 continues to get work done on it. I've paused my playthrough until A-Life is there and good to go. I was hoping it would be out before like the end of the year so I could do my game of the year list with it, but I don't think that's really going to happen. So I'm going to continue to wait until whenever A-Life 2.0 comes out. But I'm excited for it. And I just want to let people know that there's a big patch out right now. If anyone's interested in checking out, I almost said XDefiant. We'll talk about that next, but Stalker 2 and all of its fine patches. Cog, will you be taking a look?
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is, first of all, shout out to them. 650 patches. Wow.
Yeah.
That is expansive. That is a lot. And fixes, excuse me. And I love the quick turnaround. I will push back only because, again, I got to shout you out. I got to shout Lockout. A-Life 2.0 is just so transformative. I don't even want to play it until it's there.
Yeah.
To me, it would be the equivalent of like, hey, Phantom Liberty is out, but without the new cop system and the new
Shadow Mordor, no Nemesis system.
Yeah, like this is what you do. This is what you know for. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to wait. As great, and the game is great. Like now, don't get me wrong. Yeah. And when you both told me that this is nothing, you are not scratching the surface of how Stalker is supposed to be played. I'm like, I want that pure uncut. I'll wait. So
props to them for making like a great game, just in spite of it all.
Yeah.
All right. Next up here, Ubisoft is shutting down XDefiant. This actually arrives after I covered this on my channel. This arrives after they had said it's not going anywhere, and that the only reason the game was quiet was because they were making out roadmaps for the following year, and that the game wasn't going anywhere. Well, this was on the Ubisoft news page, and they said, please note this was shared internally to all Ubisoft teams before its publication on Ubisoft.com. Today, I wanted to share with you that we made the difficult decision to discontinue development on XDefiant. Despite an encouraging start to the team's passionate work and a committed fan base, we've not been able to attract and retain enough players in the long run to compete at a level we aim for in the very demanding free-to-play FPS market. As a result, the game is too far away from reaching the results required to enable further significant investment, and we are announcing that we will be sunsetting it. Concretely, this means that as of today, new downloads, player registrations, and purchases will no longer be available. Season 3 will still launch and the servers will remain active until June 3rd, 2025, out of appreciation for both our dev teams who worked on it and XDefiant's active players. Unfortunately, the discontinuation of XDefiant brings difficult consequences for the teams working on this game. Even if almost half of the XDefiant team worldwide will be transitioning to other roles within Ubisoft, this decision also leads to the closing of our San Francisco and Osaka production studios and to the ramp down of our Sydney production site, with 143 people departing in San Francisco and 134 people likely to depart in Osaka and Sydney. To those team members leaving Ubisoft, I want to express my deepest gratitude for your work and contributions. Please know that we are committed to supporting you during this transition. Developing games as a service experiences remains a pillar of our strategy, and we've achieved significant successes like Rainbow Six, The Crew, and For Honor, among others. It's a highly competitive market, and we will apply the lessons learned with XDefiant to our future live titles. Globally, we are determined to take the necessary steps to put the company back on a path to growth, innovation, and creativity, and make sure we can set you up for success. This means continuing to radically evolve our mindset for production and business practices, which we will share more about soon, and doing targeted restructuring when necessary. I know that the situation brings questions and expectations, and we will share regular and transparent updates. My sincere thanks to your continued dedication as we navigate these trying times together. Marie-Sophie de Wabourt, the Chief Studios and Portfolio Officer. This is pretty interesting because I just want to double check. Hold on.
You good.
XDefiant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. It released May this year. It didn't even get out of its own calendar year and got shut down.
Wow.
It was kind of crazy, dude. As someone who played a decent amount of it, I'm not going to act like I grinded it a ton.
Yeah. How was it?
Like just around 10 hours. I thought it felt really good. And I thought the idea was kind of sound of all these Ubisoft game factions in these maps from previous Ubisoft games. I don't know, man. Like it was actually surprisingly good. And they had, there was I think Aches was his name, who was like a former professional Call of Duty player who heavily influenced like the map design, the spawns, the gunplay. And you could feel that. Like this was a game designed for like both arcadey shooting and also competitive play. And I think it just felt really good. Like, I don't know. I was very impressed that Ubisoft actually put this one together because it just didn't feel like any of their other games. But to see them shutting it down so soon, I mean, in light of a certain Marvel game that will be releasing very soon, and by the time most people are hearing this will be out, I feel this accelerated some plans. But also what you noticed here, studio shutdowns, layoffs. Ubisoft's been plummeting for a while now. A complete downward spiral is not an exaggerative term for where their company lies at this moment in time. And they needed to make changes. And I mean, Colin, to his credit, has spoken about this extensively, that Ubisoft, they hired like what, close to 20,000 people at one point. Like I don't want to advocate for it, but like they need to, with how their business currently operates and how much money it is not bringing in, they need to downsize. They do. They definitely need to trim the fat. And this is step one. And they even say here in this letter that there's going to be more restructuring, which is corporate for layoffs and changes to teams and downsizing. So this won't be the last of it, but this is the beginning of, I think, a significant shift at Ubisoft. And it starts with XDefiant, which is sad to see because, again, I thought the game was actually pretty fun to play. But Cog, any thoughts on Ubisoft's future, the discontinuation of development of XDefiant? Any thoughts at all?
Just again, I just think of this live service climate, bro. The games as a service climate, it's brutal. It really is. You're fighting for eyeballs. You're fighting for attention. It's so much in the space. You've already talked about, we're going to get into Marvel Rivals and that coming up and stuff like that. And the thing is, when you have that moment, you cannot miss. You have to. Then the next stage, immediately after launching, is retention and addressing feedback and doing it timely. Because if you mess around when people liked your product and then they feel like you're not listening and all right, you want to play around, we're going to go back to the Sinister Six. The Sinister Six games have always been there for us. And people are playing older games more than they're playing newer games. For you to be a new IP in this day and era, bro, I don't envy these guys. It is rough to, again, the Call of Duties, the Fortnites, the Roblox, the Minecrafts, all these games that it's the same 6 games when you look at Circana at the top. Yeah. The Maddens, the 2Ks. People are playing older games more. That's what we're seeing with the data. So new IP, look, it's unfortunate, obviously, with the people at the studio and stuff like that. You feel for them. But I think this is going to curtail companies from being as aggressive in the live service space that we saw, because especially now when we talked about endlessly, when we talk about Marathon, and if you're not free to play, you got that going on for you. So look, I didn't really mess with XDefiant. I know a lot of people that did, and they said they did like their experience and stuff like that. But I always look at it as the fight for eyeballs, and it's just way too many things out here for people, for not saying that XDefiant was playing around, but that's the, like, if you're not a wholly committed, and look at what happened with Concord, bro. Like, it's just your character design. It's always something that could be hit. It's all got to hit. Yeah. Facts.
That's why I think Marvel Rivals is going to be huge, because I think it's all hitting. I think it's all hitting. We're going to discuss design, gameplay, everything looks good, bro. Everything.
And we're going to discuss what they're about to do, which is really huge. So
yeah, dude. I wanted to ask you, what does this make you feel about Marathon? I know it's a little bit off topic, but like, this is kind of a similar situation. Like, new IP, probably first person shooter. I know Marathon's supposed to be an extraction shooter, but you see like these live games that are just coming out and failing quicker and quicker. Like, I know Bungie's got that namesake behind it. It feels like a lot of that Destiny base is just looking for the next thing to hop to. I heard that Destiny Rising is actually low key kind of good.
Yeah, I heard it's fire.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting. So maybe they got something there. Right. I know that's not Bungie, but looking at Marathon, do you have any feelings that have grown now seeing this news and kind of realizing, like, again, this space is just so tough to crack into? I know Ubisoft's easy to dunk on, but but for all intents and purposes, this was a game that came out, felt good to play, had some unique ideas behind it. Map design was pretty good. I know a lot of people may disagree with that, but like, I feel it had a chance and it still failed. So what does it make you feel about Marathon? Like, how it just feel like, even if you do really well, like the finals is another one I think of where we just don't hear about it as much anymore.
Absolutely. I'm very uneasy. Yeah. I'm worried about, what we consider, we talk with Mark Dara, what was it? The BioWare magic, right? I'm worried about Bungie magic. Bungie has notoriously been the kid who, crams for his finals at the last minute and had barely passing grades from marking period to marking period, and then they somehow nail it. And look, I know for a fact that the majority of the quality PvP guys are over on the game. I know that Destiny is suffering horribly right now, like because they've laid off so many people in QA, and like it's getting to the point with the community in Destiny right now that every time there's a controversy, the community figures out like perks are not working the way they're supposed to be. They're not getting random rolls the way they're supposed to be. And people are showing evidence. And then Bungie's have to making statements to say, hey guys, your evidence was right. We're going to reward you. Our bad. Like when you're having this many technical issues, when systems now are not being trusted to work, the thought process is, well, okay, well, maybe they're over a marathon. But to your point, like, this is a crowded space, and I don't know how an extraction shooter is going to do in 2025. I just don't know. So I do know this. I'm confident that the product should be sound from a gameplay standpoint. One thing I know about Bungie is they know how to make a damn good shooter, and they usually understand a fun loop. So it should be fun. It should be good, right? But does that translate in 2025 in this climate? I don't know. And I say it again. I don't know if you can come out here and charge you know, a $70 game for this genre. I just don't know in this climate if that's enough. Old school Bungie could get away with that. But, you know, the name has taken hits right now. And again, I'm just worried about genre, extraction shooter. When I hear that, I think Division Dark Zone, right? And a play on that. And don't get me wrong, I love the concept of it, but it quickly died out, especially when Ubi wasn't paying attention to feedback, wasn't handling the balancing stuff. And I know the hardcore Division guys were kind of like, okay, we're good. We like the idea of this, but it's going to be how quickly you're able to pivot and adapt to the needs of the community. So pulling for them, but I'm uneasy is the answer.
Okay. Good thoughts. We got up next here, Cog. BioWare, the director of Dragon Age Veilguard, Corinne Busche, shared an interesting statement here on future choices within Dragon Age during an interview. She said, quote, "The big thing for us is we wanted to make this story, every single choice you make, feel relevant to it. One thing that we could have stated more clearly, or maybe alluded to more clearly in the game, is the idea that just because these choices from the past library of games didn't necessarily impact this story, that doesn't mean they're gone. This is a chance for us to really key into what matters with these events and what's happening in Northern Thedas. I do fully expect that these choices going clear back to Dragon Age Origins will again matter. So just wanted to be on the record with that. Every one of your choices that people have made throughout their Dragon Age journey, those are still your choices," end quote. And I just found this
How you feeling?
Mildly perplexing.
Break it down.
Because it's like, so it's an admission that you made a game that just ignored past choices, which was obvious with the keep, but like to blatantly state it now, I think is a little bit different, to kind of be just very clear, like, yeah, your choices didn't matter here. At the same time, talking up Veilguard, like every choice you make does matter, is simply not true. The game's very devoid of choice, but it suggests that they're not done with Dragon Age. And one thing we talked about, there will be no spoilers here for those who are playing and enjoying, but there is a secret ending for Veilguard that suggests there's more. And that more that we were unpacking in that spoiler cast, I was like, oh boy, this is no.
Oh, really? It's a no?
It's
what they're trying to do?
Yeah, like it's not. I will do what I always do, give them the grace. But for me, just what I looked into after the show, like my real-time reaction is there on the show, by the way, if anyone wants to check it out. Like it's on Sacred Symbols Plus. You'll literally see me in real time, learn about the secret ending and what it means. But then I took time afterwards to look into it. And just, I think it is not a good storytelling direction. But it would suggest some sort of like reaching back into a game like Origins. But I felt like Veilguard was kind of putting a bow on things. Like there was, with some of the final words of the game, it felt like it was BioWare talking to you, like this might be it for us. And so it was very interesting to see them kind of go out and be like, yeah, like your choices still matter, kind of suggesting like the next game in Dragon Age, like we're going to make those count. And obviously that is exciting to hear if they can actually deliver on it, which I don't have full confidence they can personally, but it means that they're not going to put this series to rest despite everything, which says two things. Number one is that the game might have actually done better than we anticipated.
That's
right?
what I'm trying to tell people.
I mean, I look at the sales charts. I've been realistic with it. I've been telling people, like, deeming it a failure, only EA can really do that, but nothing has really suggested to me that this has been a colossal failure, from player count to sales charts to ratings. Everything has suggested the game has, at the very least, done decently.
Because here's the thing, I did interrupt very quickly. When it came out on the last day of October, right? Did it come out like the 31st?
Yeah.
The Circana came out, and in one day, it was the number 5 game in October for the one day. So we already got a 30-day win. So that's what made me go, I think this did better than what people thought. One day, you
because they were leaning into Steam numbers, which I get. I mean, we use Steam numbers here all the time. But they were leaning into Steam numbers, which are like just about 90K, I think. Okay. Which is good, but compared to like Dragon's Dogma, which is like 200 something thousand.
Fair.
So it was like all the sales had to happen on console. The telling stat will hopefully be coming soon in November's performance, where Dragon Age ranks there.
Yeah, that's
if they're like a top 2.
Yeah, then
I think it did well, and people kind of just had to stomach that the rally against it maybe hurt it, where it didn't sell. Maybe it could have been number 3 on day on day 1, but the rally against it may not have worked fully. However, I'm surprised they have plans to move forward with this series. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was stunned to learn there was a secret ending suggesting what's to come. Just in general. Just because, again, I feel like the writing's on the wall. Like, this should be it, especially because of how to wrap up the story. I'm like, this feels very fine.
Conclusive.
Very conclusive. So I just found like the timing interesting, right? Like, we're just over a month removed from this game's release, and they're like, yeah, next time around, those are going to matter. Like, and they're talking about choices and stuff. I'm like, interesting. So I'm trying to pay attention to how BioWare is moving, because it's they're good talkers. I'll give them. What do you think about this?
I mean, you only talk that way if you feeling good about how things are done. I guess we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn a lot. It could be corp speak, but it could be also that they have some internal stuff coming back, and we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we have news on the Lies of P developers' next game in round 8. They are making a sci-fi survival horror game on Unreal Engine 5. They've confirmed that Q1 2025 is when we're going to get the Lies of P DLC, which I hope we actually see during the Game Awards, because that is like one of my most anticipated things. I fucking loved Lies of P. So that's exciting. Mr. Scott, if you're nasty, has a right in here. Duke's Lies of P DLC confirmed to be coming in early 2025. The developer is also working on the sequel, and a new IP confirmed to be a survival horror game. Lies of P was my game of the year for 2023, so I am pumped to hear all about this. 2 questions. What's your excitement level for this? And is this too many projects for the fairly new team? I'm so progressive, I discriminate against people and bring shame to my studio kind of day. Hey, don't say we don't let our audience get their bars off.
They get their bars.
Y'all are all part of our show as much as we are. Thank you for writing in, Mr. Scott. All right. Let's talk about the GOAT, right? Let's talk about the GOAT. Ji-Won Choi, developer at Round 8, director of Lies of P. I'm so happy that they're confirming, like, sequel's underway. We figured as much, but you never know. Survival horror, though. Look, man, give these gents and ladies the benefit of the doubt. I know it's a crazy genre switch there. Like, I thought, like, oh, they're going to go all in on FromSoft style games, and they might challenge for the throne. They still could do that with the Lies of P sequel, I think. But to go out and do survival horror, Unreal Engine 5, I'm very keen to see what they do, because one thing I loved about Lies of P, this is my self-made term. I've used it on the show before, but for those who don't listen, I call Lies of P a blender game. Like, here's a bunch of ideas. We're going to take FromSoftware games. We're going to take, obviously mechanics from Sekiro to Bloodborne. We'll put those in there. We kind of want a universe that's dark like a Bloodborne. Okay, we're going to throw that in there. We're going to throw crazy music in here. Like, we're going to throw like a lot of random shit in here on top of that. Put it in the blender, turn it on, and see what comes out. And I'm curious, because if that's their development style, and they, by the way, did an amazing job with that, like giving it its own identity while its inspirations are clear. They're great students of the game. They study closely. It's like, okay, so now the students of the game are about to go and take a course on survival horror. So are they going to do a blender game that's like Dead Space and Resident Evil and Silent Hill? Because the storytelling was, to me, the biggest separating factor between Lies of P and any other FromSoft inspired game, because Lies of P's story is phenomenal in my eyes. I loved it so much. And now I'm like, okay, how are they going to take those storytelling chops and expand it here? So while Mr. Scott, I think you're right. They're moving quick, right? This is the thing I always worry about, is when a company gets big success, they move in a lot of directions immediately because they're flush with cash. It's time to invest. Like, I get it. At the same, because like even Larry and I have a little bit of worry for, and not that they'll be able to execute, but they went from a solo game developer to like, okay, here we go. Like, we're going to take all this Baldur's Gate 3 money, open a new team. We're going to work on this IP and that IP. We're not doing Baldur's Gate 4. Like, they really made no safe choices right after that, which is, I think, good if you're great at your job in game development. That's always going to be the right choice. It's not doing the safe thing, because that means you're trying something new. You're trying something original. So yeah, I think Round 8 is doing the right thing, but I do worry about that quick growth. Cyberpunk, right? 30 million copies sold. They set up a new studio in Boston. They set up another indie studio, right? They're working on something for Witcher. They're remaking Witcher 1. They're doing Witcher 4. They're doing another Cyberpunk game. Like, they promised like 4 or 5 projects at once after Cyberpunk's money was cashed in. So I do know this is a trend. Some developers handle it better than others. Since it's being made on Unreal Engine, I have a little less worry, simply by nature of support, right? When you're a developer like a CD Projekt Red and you're making all these different games and it's on like a proprietary engine, when you get stuck, it's a traffic jam. But now if, say, Round 8 gets stuck, NeoWiz gets stuck, you can tap Epic on the shoulder, figure something out in that pipeline, move your game forward from there, and optimize it further. So that's just my assessment of where they're at as a team. But look, I'm on board for anything they're doing. And the idea of them doing a blender game for sci-fi survival horror is awesome, because immediately when I hear that, I'm like, oh, Dead Space, cool. And look, Callisto Protocol, you're a hidden gem, I would call you. Like, you're rough around the edges big time, but I still got like a little bit of like adoration for it, just because, you can feel that Dead Space energy in it. But Dead Space, you are not. So I'm hoping that Round 8 comes around and rethinks survival horror in a fun way. So I'm excited, but not what I expected to be on the list from them. So I thought they were just, again, going to keep doing those FromSoft style games, but it seems they got more on the docket. Cog, any thoughts on Round 8 doing a sci-fi survival horror game?
Yeah, man. I'm proud of your champion. Your young champion is in the ring out here, Look, y'all know I'm not the Souls guy, but I have to admit, when you were like, I'll just at least give this thing a shot. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, oh, I get it. And this is all Elden Ring, gang. I love y'all, but this is what I be talking about. Like, I understand something could be great, but all I was saying is like, yo, where's the narrative at, B? Like, I just feel like, yo, I'm just, you got to really dig and search, to get the gist of what's going on in the Elden Ring and the From type game. And that was my only issue. And I'm just like, man, I just wish they would put that energy, like the way Lies of P did. Like, that to me is like, okay, you want to win people like me over who don't really like the genre. You tell a nice, compelling story. And the whole Pinocchio thing, I thought it was super dope and dark. And I just love the aesthetic of the game. So, one, you get your sequel, which is super dope, right? You get DLC in the meantime, which is super dope. But to your question, look, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. Lies of P showed me that, yes, we all know the goats are from, and they definitely were inspired by the goats over there. We get that. But they took the formula, flipped it, and was like, this is how it should be done. It's almost like, how I look at it, almost like the future of turn-based in a way, like the future of Souls. Like, this is what Souls could be, right? If we had the helm at it. So I want to see what that now for the survival horror. Hey, what if they got some ideas cooking? Like, we can show you guys how to do that.
Yeah.
Because I will say, when I've played Lies of P, I got some little energy here and there of how it could potentially be if they did a survival horror game.
Their world building and whatnot, their level design, it's so good that I'm just like, this. It was surprising, but now you say that and it got my brain going. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Bro, that world building of a Pinocchio, like it's just amazing to me what they just did with that one character and flipped it on its head into this like spooky, cool situation, and the world was dope. So yeah, if anybody could do it, maybe it's them. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to see what they got cooking, and I'm excited for them, man.
Ladies and gents, again, I'm just gonna say it. It's the Liza P sequel is confirmed. Please, man, don't let this get ruined for you. Like, do not sit on your hands. Oh, there goes Maddie again. I know there's someone listening. Here he goes again. Don't be that dude. Don't let it happen to you. When the sequel gets announced, you're like, oh, don't be that person. You have the opportunity to know what the sequel is going to be right now if you play the game, and it's fucking awesome. This is one of the best stingers in gaming. Like, when I finished it, I was like, that was incredible. Then I got that stinger. I was like, let's fucking go, man. So please do not put yourself in the position where you learn through a trailer announcement. I'm telling y'all, do not sleep on the GOAT Ji-Won Choi and what his team is cooking, all right? Because Liza P is here, and Liza of, I will not say the next letter, is going to be fucking sick. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Easily my most anticipated unannounced game, if you will.
Okay. Boy talking. All right.
Speaking of FromSoftware games, watch out, FromSoftware. They just confirmed through Hidetake Miyazaki at the PlayStation Partner Awards 2024 that they're not considering Elden Ring 2, but the team is open to returning in some form in the future. But also, they have multiple projects in development, some directed by Miyazaki himself. And interestingly, he states they are, quote, diverse in genre, end quote. All right. This is Sekiro 2. That's my guess. This has to be Sekiro 2. Here's why, Con.
What? Break it down.
Sekiro is an action game. It is at the end of the day, right? Like, it is not your FromSoftware RPG. Maybe FromSoftware is doing a little round 8. Maybe they're making their own survival horror. I don't know. But I feel like there's been so many hints in the way Miyazaki is speaking that suggest his brain is on Sekiro. For example, when he was talking about, is Elden Ring your magnum opus? He's like, no, like we still feel like we have a ways to go before we get there, which I know at first is like him being humble, but he particularly like highlighted the combat and how like could be some room to grow there, mechanically speaking. I'm like, yeah, it would make sense. The magnum opus would probably have the world of an Elden Ring, the level design of like your Dark Souls games, but that Sekiro combat is just unmatched, dude. Unmatched. So I feel like they're going to go back, develop some new strategy, some new place for that playbook, especially I'll just say trending for that game suggests there's more on the way. So I feel like this is the obvious next game for them. This would be an incredible announcement at the Game Awards if they somehow pulled that off. I mean, one of my biggest gamer regrets is like taking this long to appreciate and love Sekiro, but it's just like, I think you would love it, Cog. I know you look at that and you're probably like, nah, but I'm telling you, bro, because it's an action game. It's an action game. So once you get it, bro, you are the gaming ninja. And you feel that way, bro. The way when you're deflecting and you learn all of the game's mechanics, it is a game that, all right, so I was playing Stellar Blade the other week. And when I did the demo for Stellar Blade, like I got the hang of it for the most part, but there was like the boss at the end of the demo that I took a few tries. Like I wasn't quite slick with it yet. And then I beat Sekiro and I step out and I'm like, games are suddenly a little bit easier in how I approach them, how I think about them. And then I get to Stellar Blade and bro, this game is piss easy now. And I'm like, oh. So I'm just saying, like, if anyone just thinks like I want to level up in gaming, I think Sekiro pulls that out of you. And Cog, I'm just saying, bro.
Look, man.
I feel like I know you can do this. I know you can do this.
Didn't we just start opening up Define and Duke saying it's a stressful year?
Yeah, but like, bro, nothing will make you feel better than the fatal attack on your most mortal enemies who have pissed you off. That feeling of getting better, bro. I'm telling you, this will make your year better.
Bro, I just went through the second row of turn-based. We gonna get into that. I have done my penance. I have done my trial through fire. I was broken on levels I didn't think I could come back from. And that damn metaphor.
Man, you're scaring
that
me.
was, bro, I'm telling somebody DM me today. 2 people DM me and was like, yo, Cog, F that part that you was doing. I feel you. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Oh, wow.
People was like, yo, that is wild crazy what you just did. And some people was like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to go and handle who I got to handle at the end. And who cares about the days left?
Sure.
I'm not doing it. That's what I'm telling. I'm already doing
you're
souls
good right now.
I've done souls of turn base. Look, I love y'all. I don't want to be mad at my family. I don't want to be an angry individual. I'm gonna be a bitter person playing Sekiro and From game. I don't want that side of me coming out. I know me. I'm a nice guy. Those games turn me into something else. That's old school raging, throwing the controller. This is BS. I beat that fate. I don't want that Cog to ever come back. I want to retire that Cog. That's the side you don't want to know about me. That's old South Bronx Cog. I had bad habits. I was bad. I don't want to go back to that life, man. Why are you trying to make me go back to the streets?
Because you're such a wise man now. You've grown so much in the years I've known you. You would rinse this game, man. I feel like you would love it. I feel like you would love it. That kid would come back. He'd come back alive. All right, when you're feeling really old, we're gonna pull this game out, and this will be the one that like revives you, because that old Cog, that energy is gonna come back. It'd be like Mike Tyson against Jake Paul.
And we all sort of farced that one. So my thing, look, I feel you on the samurai-ness, the ninja. It does speak to me. The one that actually speaks to me the most, besides obviously lots of people, but from a ninja is that new one that Sony got. What is it? Phantom.
Oh, Phantom Blade Zero.
Oh my God, those are the movies I grew up on, and oh my God. But again, I have to discipline myself as an older gentleman, as an older dude, to be like, look. Yes, you could enjoy it. Yes, if you probably put all the hours in, you could probably get mastered and get to a certain point and be competitive. But I just don't like how it puts me emotionally. I get anxiety. I get angry. I get very snappy at people. You call me and I'm fighting that boss. You might not be friends after the things I might say to you. Like I get real. I don't want that side of me. That side is retired. I'm nice, older Cog. Cog loves everybody now. Let me have fun in my little turn-based world. Let me struggle with Studio. What's our people? Studio Zero.
Studio Zero, yeah.
Studio Zero. The respect I got for y'all broke me. I thought I was something in turn-based.
Did you snap at anyone during those gauntlets? Like anyone call you? Like, yeah, what?
Yes. Bro, Mama Car caught all the wrath one day. She was like, what's wrong? Why are you talking to me like that? I was like, what do you want? Because she called me in a bad spot. I was doing something. And I'm like, this is not the time. I spoke to you already. I call you back. I get into those pockets. You don't want to see me like that.
All right. I don't want to bring. I work with you every week. I don't need that. Don't play.
Each one's the greatest. Like, you don't want me to be that kind of podcaster.
I've only seen you legit angry once, and that was enough.
See?
That was enough for me to be like, all right.
Teach me the good steak. Ask Solve. Bro, I used to have a very bad temper, bro. Like, I would snap. Like, I was the guy. It takes a lot of strength not to respond. I've learned to get like, okay, that's for you guys. You tell me how that was.
Well, kudos to you then for trying Liza P. Yes. I would love to be a fly on the wall to know when you put down the controller, like you felt that fire light in you. You're like, now we're uninstalling.
It's like, I know
game patch.
Facts. Fair enough.
All right. We just got a couple of bits of news to go through here. And then we're into what we're playing, the main event of this episode. Visions of Mana director Ryosuke Yoshida is leaving NetEase-owned Oka Studios to join Square Enix. I think this is significant because Visions of Mana is a criminally undercovered game in this industry, and it was dealt a really shit hand. It came out, and the day after it released, it was announced by Bloomberg in a report that Oka Studios was gutted, and that all that remained was a skeleton crew, and that remaining crew would just do like whatever remaining DLC support was there for the game, and then it would be shut down. So to see the director of the game, by the way, this is a Square Enix published game. So to see the director of the game leave and go to Square Enix shows that probably they still got plans for Mana as a series, which is good. Because what was sad is this is one of those situations, again, it didn't get covered at all, but like the game came out, it was really good. I played something, I was like, this is really good. And then the studio gets like gutted and shut down, and everyone's like, shucks. And then that was it. Like no real coverage, no anger, no like, what the fuck? Like none of that. So it was a real bummer to see how it all happened there. But I think this hire does suggest maybe more future from the Mana series. I'm thinking of Milestone PA right now. I hope he's doing well, because I know probably cares deeply about this type of hire. So it looks like there's a future there. So good hire by Square Enix. Cog, any thoughts on this?
I don't have much to add. I just love the fact that, continue to fight the live another day and to continue to give the Mana IP that life. So I like that.
Right on. Well, let's talk about another JRPG GOAT. Hironobu Sakaguchi, father of Final Fantasy, spoke to Famitsu on returning to Xbox. Now, this is a Google translated article, so a lot of this is going to be very broken English or sentences that don't make sense, but we will kind of translate afterwards once more of what the true meaning actually is. So he says, on Xbox, like Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, I was making them and I was sent a feeling that I was back on Xbox again. I'm very happy to be able to launch on Nintendo Switch, which is Nintendo's hard work. After all, Nintendo is the one who made me a creator. And of course, PlayStation, this is where the translation gets funny. PlayStation is really small. He leans into Final Fantasy VII there, saying, I remember that time as well. Looking back at various thoughts, I thought that the work corresponding to iOS was a retirement work, but as a result, it will be released on all platforms. Fantasian, it just became the endpoint for me. Now, Neo Dimension, I have a stronger sense of welcoming the finale, but as I said before, this is making a new work and not the end. So I thought this was kind of like a sad read at the same time. Like he said, he was very emotional to get back on Xbox because it kind of brought him back to that era with Mistwalker, with Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, some of the best JRPGs you can play, especially Lost Odyssey. And now, again, this is coming out. December 6th is a big day for the industry because Fantasian Neo Dimension is dropping. And this is a game that I have been so excited to play. Don't sleep on these Apple Arcade games. I made the same mistake, but then when I played Splinter Fate and that entered my top 10 of the year, that was an Apple Arcade game. And not only that, because that wasn't just like a starving Turtles fan, but I was like, this is like the best Ninja Turtles game we ever got. And it was on Apple Arcade. Like, I know it's not a cute platform or anything, but look, man, great games do live there. And this is another one. The reviews were out. It was like an 82 or 3, I think, on Open Critic, like strong reviews. And people are saying, if you like OG Final Fantasy, like that spirit is here in the dialogue, the character development. Nobuo Uematsu did the music for this. It's all fully voiced. It's got a unique combat system where you can like stash random encounters and you could start them whenever you want. All of the maps are real life dioramas. You can literally look them up and see them in the Mistwalker studio. Like they built them and then scan them in. And then,
that's like Path for the guys. I love that.
It's really cool, dude. It's a really cool JRPG. So it's awesome. It's on Xbox. I encourage our audience to go support this game because this company, I would kill for them to come back and make a new game for Xbox like they did with the Blue Dragon or Lost Odyssey. Because again, y'all have heard me wax poetic, so I'll keep it brief. But Lost Odyssey is truly one of the best JRPGs I've ever played, man. Like no game like in that 360 generation JRPGs really made me as emotional as that game. That is a game that will make grown man tears. There's another game this generation that got a cog. I talked to you right after that. Grown man tears were falling this week, but Lost Odyssey got me good, man. That is a very heartfelt game. And if you were to look at it in its kind of zeitgeist, it was the Final Fantasy 13 for those who didn't like it, and screw you if you didn't like it. But it was the Final Fantasy 13 you never got, to be fair. But man, this game I'm so excited for. It's going to be tough to balance this all because I'm looking at Marvel Rivals, looking at Path of Exile, looking at Fantasian. I'm like, man. And then, dude, do you see that Power Rangers game coming out?
Yo, that joint look low-key fire. Bro.
Right. I'm like, dude, that's 4 days after. So it's going to be tough, but I thought it was really cool to see this sort of reverence for the Xbox platform from one of the true GOATs, but also he's planning the end game, man. This might be it for him. This might be. And that's sad because he has delivered, obviously, Final Fantasy being his crown jewel. So much work on that IP, but he went on, the thing is crazy to me is he went on, so many developers kind of like, I feel fade out after they leave their big gig, but he went on to make more goats. Like, it's unbelievable to me, man. So yeah, some thoughts, some love for one of the goats, in my opinion. Cog, how are you feeling about Sakaguchi and Mistwalker returning to Xbox with Fantasia Neo Dimension?
Super dope, man. The father of Final Fantasy, the legendary man. You know, I mean, his impact on the industry is tremendous. And, you know, seeing the translated interview and seeing that, and, you know, also letting you bring it to your attention. I'm so glad we talked about it. To give him his flowers, you know, because to see him still performing at a high level, and I got to check out Fantasia just off of your recommendation to see what's going on. And then, you know, I just think about, you know, obviously Peter Moore, and I know I mention it all the time, but, you know what I'm saying, it's an interview I'm proud of. But we talk about those, you know, the Blue Dragons, the Lost Odyssey, that 360 era. That's another reason why 360 was such a, you know, performative and dope, successful console, is because it had titles from him. You know what I mean? I know people who got a 360 just for those games. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is amazing. Now, of course, selfishly, you know, would love for him to not, you know, retire and enjoy just yet. But look, he's been around. I get it. You know, I would listen, at minimum, I would just love like a little remaster or something. You know what I'm saying? One of them joints, and, you know, maybe
there was that rumor, right? Wasn't there like a Blue Dragon remaster rumor? Like, obviously people want Lost Odyssey to come back. Like,
gauge the interest, right? Low list.
He said that he wouldn't do it though. He's not interested. It's just,
he's not interested. So the vibe I get as a kid, that was a period of his life. He's moved on. And, you know, we get it. Selfless gamers, we want him to make what we want him to make. And I get it. But regardless of what, I did like the comment that he said, you know, it was dope to be working with Xbox again. He said it was deeply emotional for him.
Yeah.
That actually resonated because, again, in speaking with Peter Moore and showing how important it was to have that Japanese presence on the platform. And people to this day, you know, say, hey, these are the reasons why it was successful for them. A couple that added to the flavor of the console. So yeah, that's dope. And obviously, not to beat a dead horse, but we talked about, you know, being on Nintendo, being on, you know, shedding the mercenary ways and being more places. And people just want their games to succeed. So I'm rooting for him. You know, I'm going to check out Fantasia, see what's going on. But like you said, December is nuts based on what we're reviewing and stuff. But I got to support, just because this is the father of Final Fantasy, literally the game that I kind of got myself into JRPGs for. So yeah, salute.
Absolutely. So really looking forward to this one. Definitely picking up a physical copy for it. Last bit of news, Cog, we'll talk about what we're playing. Marvel Rivals monetization got revealed. Thought this would be one worth covering if you're listening over the weekend, looking into Marvel Rivals, what you have in store for you. And I mean, they're doing all the right things, man. I'm going to read this page here from the website. It's a dev diary. It's the 7th one they've posted. They say, "Dear Rivals, thank you so much for your excitement. With just a few days until launch, we wanted to dive into the various offers we'll be putting forth for everyone. As you know, Marvel Rivals is free to download, and heroes, maps, and other gameplay elements are completely free. We'll be charging for cosmetics that will provide only visual changes with no stat bonuses or pay-to-win elements. The team has poured immense effort into designing and crafting these in-game cosmetics, many of which draw inspiration from Marvel's iconic comics, films, and other works. These items are not only a tribute to Marvel's artistic legacy, but a way for us to reinterpret and capture different facets of the Marvel universe." So they talk about the in-game currencies. They say this game will feature 2 primary currencies, Lattice and Unit. Lattice, the gold currency, is the premium currency obtained via purchasing. Units are blue currency that can be exchanged at a 1-to-1 ratio using Lattice. Additionally, units can be earned for free in limited quantities via the Battle Pass achievements and events. While Lattice will also be distributed throughout the Battle Pass, their main acquisition method will be via direct purchase. The pricing for Lattice based on Steam's US region is as followed, with 100 Lattice per dollar, and the top tier price being $100 for 11,680 Lattice. So if you want to go that hard, you can. Pricing and products, they say cosmetic items are the only paid content in the game. Most will be sold as bundles via the in-game store. So they're doing the Halo Infinite route, Cog, which we'll have some thoughts on for sure. While most costumes, skins in the bundles can be purchased individually, buying the full bundle will provide a discounted price. A standard bundle contains 5 items: a costume, MVP animation, emote, spray, and nameplate. Below is a video, and they show a costume here. Scrolling down a little bit more, there are bundle pricing for a standard epic quality bundle is 1,600 units. Otherwise, the standard value is 2,200 units, so it's at a 28% discount. And legendary goes up to 2,400 units, with its standard value being 3,300 units at a 28% discount. Note that currency, by the way, because Lattice is the premium one, whereas Units is the one you earn by playing. So they come for free with Battle Pass achievements events. I want to reiterate that because that means that you can get the premium stuff by just playing the game. The Battle Pass will also feature exquisite and dazzling cosmetic items on par with those sold in the bundles. Below, they have a video showcasing the legendary quality costume skin from the Season 0 Battle Pass. In addition to the monetization system outlined above, achievements and events will provide free costumes and other cosmetics. Free units will also be distributed, allowing you to purchase paid cosmetics without paying any money or without spending any money while still enjoying the cosmetic items. Your hard work will speak for itself as you look good on the battlefield. This concludes our explanation of Marvel Rivals monetization system. Thank you for your support. If you have any suggestions or thoughts, feel free to share them as we're always listening to our community. Cog, I mean, dude, as the leader of the Naraka Blade Point charge, this sounds like a very large departure in a good way from where they were at with that game.
Yeah, man. And it's funny you mentioned Naraka. They're actually doing some really cool stuff recently. Bro, they just got a Witcher collaboration. Did you see?
I didn't see that, no.
Bro, I'll send it to you. I'm like, Naraka is still moving out here. I was shocked. Like, I was like, okay, maybe it's kind of died down. And I'm like, they got a full-on Geralt for Rivia storyline and all type of stuff. But yeah, I'll send it to you in a minute. But yeah, this is dope. Look, at the end of the day, all you can ask for is transparency, right? How are you handling stuff? And we know this climate in live service and even with free to play sometimes can get a little aggressive and overbearing, kind of thing. Marvel, you would think this is the one that they're gonna be like, all right.
Yeah, time to cash in.
We gonna get you. We gonna get you. We free to play, but we gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? And I just love the level of fact of the main impressive thing to me is explanation of how things work on every single level. But the main thing I got from it is, just play the damn game, right? Mm-hmm. Also, and you could still be afforded everything because a lot of games tend to separate things where you really cannot earn. First of all, they separate things to the part where the paid stuff just looks so much better than the free stuff, right? Just so much better. And then it's like, even if you play zillions of hours, it doesn't equate, or some things are just not even available on the free track. A lot of games do that as well. So it's just like, I just love this. And I really, listen, I know Netease sometimes doesn't get the greatest rap, but I actually like their games. I got to be honest. They speak to me. You know what I'm saying? I told you about Naraka. I'm still addicted to it. When I saw Marvel Rivals, I'm like, they're speaking to me as the guy that was never really the hardcore Overwatch, but you throw a Marvel skin, you throw power, and you show respect to artwork and respect to powers, respect to characters. And when I interviewed them, what was it, Gamescom? The Keighley thing. What was it? Summer Games Fest. They had Disney representation there. That really impressed me. Like, they were talking about the care that they were putting in and how they want to listen to their community. And I was immediately giving feedback. I was like, Silver Surfer would be a really great later addition to the game. And I have to admit, every time I see this game, they're adding characters in it. I saw
33 at launch, dude.
Bro, I'm like, I'm feeling confident. I might get, what I want long term. So I think this is the game I'm a mess with. I'm getting more excited as it gets closer. And I think they're doing things the right way. So yeah, shout out to them. Love this level of transparency. Just get right in front of it. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. And I think for the most part, it's fair. I just got to see how the bundle is going to work because I know, well, at least they said you could buy stuff individually. That was the problem with Infinite. Remember? Infinite tried to force you to get.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I used to hate that with it. I'm like, bro, all I want is the suit. I don't care about all this other stuff. But they're like, nah, you can do that. So yeah, salute to them.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to check this one out. I was like watching gameplay and it looks really fun. I feel like it's definitely leaning more into fun factor than balancing because like I was watching some dude who was cracked as Spider-Man and like this dude got across the map instantly, got on people, was yanking them off the maps, was just like in and out. I was like, this dude in the right hands might be a problem. And this is character 1 of 33. So
yes.
I'm very interested to see how the balancing goes, but I have a lot of faith that it'll be fun. I mean, I was looking at all these heroes. I was looking at like Wolverine. They recently revealed and like he looked fun. Like you could literally do these team up attacks. Like, so you could do the fastball with the Hulk and he can throw Wolverine. I'm like, that's cool as hell, man. Like, I'm very excited about it. So
very excited.
It should be good. I love this December trend of like this new free to play wave just kind of hitting. We had finals last year and that was also a really good time. So Yeah, looking forward to playing some Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
All right, Cog, main event time.
Mm-hmm.
Time to talk about what games we are playing this week. I know I normally kick it to you first, but since we're playing the same thing and I only have the one straggler, if you don't mind, if I'm going to go first here, we'll just
jump that bad boy off.
Yeah. Metaphor. Metaphor, oh metaphor, oh metaphor.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, man. So I'm at the 60-hour mark before Indiana Jones came in. And I had to sadly put it down at that point, but I put it down at a perfect point in a sense because this story just went up a notch. And I really don't know if I can offer more outside of just, the feelings I experienced and why I thought it was good. But I'm going to go really light on the why. This game, bro, it got me to cry. And it was a mid-game cry, right? Like, I'm usually the end game crier, if anything. I think of like a Silent Hill 2, like an end game cry, because that's where they punch. I was like, dude, they got me in the middle of the game. Dude, the only time this has happened, and it was like close to the end of the game too. So I don't know if it really counts, but I think of Nier. When I was a kid, Nier broke my heart, dude. Like, so this is a rare moment for me to experience that intense of an emotion in the scheme of things relatively early in the experience. Right? Like, still got a ways to go. But bro, I'll just say, not what happened or anything like that. Of course I wouldn't go there. But how they executed a sequence of events with twists, turns, and just heartfelt moment. Just, they had this one shot, right? Like, at first I was like, something was happening. I was like, damn, I'm kind of not really feeling anything right now. Then there was a line, and that got me. I was like, okay, I feel the emotion. Then they had a conversation, and I felt, before you cry, you feel your eyes start to kind of like go a little bit, right? You're like, oh man, they're breaking me. This is getting me to water up. But then, Cog, and I know you'll know because you played it, and I told you exactly that moment. They had this shot, this one shot after everything happened, and bro, I was like, all four corners, dude. I had the double prong tears just coming down my face. I was like, holy shit, that was perfect. You could not have done that better. And I won't say what or anything, but just excellent part. You want to talk about when I was going like, yeah, story's good, it's great, even just like, I'm not feeling that. Oh my God, bro, they bitch slapped me for like 5 hours straight. They're like, yeah, you think like this ain't gonna be a good story? Oh my God, dude, they beat the fuck out of me. And by the end of the session, I was like, oh, this game is so good. Like, I went from really, really liking it, like that. If we were on a scale of love, like that 9 to like 10 love, where I was like, I love this game.
Game of the year kind of moment, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely
100%,
a moment.
Where I was like, yeah, this is gotta be number one for me already. And I'm not done yet. While I do want to finish it soon, I've really been treasuring this kind of process where I know last week I was like, man, how am I not done yet? But like, once I hit that part with that emotion, I'm like, savor this, dude. Like, this is your developer, their games. This team only comes around so often. Like, this is special. And they just made you experience an emotion you usually only feel in the end game. And they did it in such a way, just the character writing. Bro, I'm so happy who's on my party now. I'm like, let's go. Oh man, all the feelings though. So yeah, I'll just keep it brief there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh man, the twists and turns though. I'm learning things. I'm just like, you told me I think I'm at like the 60%. I'm like, how, bro? Like this.
Bro, you haven't seen.
I'm like, how there's so. I feel like there's
so much.
I feel like we're right there on the end. Like if I was if I was like in this window, like, oh Matt, you're okay. Let's say I'm reviewing the game, right? You're in that bubble. You got no insight whatsoever. I'd be like, yeah, I'm close. Yeah, I'm close, dude. The fact that you're like, nah, you're kind of getting there, but now I'm like, dude, how? And if that's what I'm feeling now, I can't wait to get back into it. But like, yeah, I got the full party now. Woo! Kind of have that the game really begins moment that like I think Final Fantasy is really defined by. I will say I made a connection with one of these new party members. Someone in Atlas is a massive, and I mean massive, Final Fantasy X fan.
Ooh.
I will just, for those who have played 10, there is a character that is top to bottom.
Top to bottom?
I'm very surprised that Atlas, for how great, it's not like a knock on their writing because it's an amazing character, but like I'm very surprised how obvious the inspiration is. But I think based on the name of the game, it is deliberate. So, but it is funny to see. I was like, oh, yeah, I've seen this character before, but from everything from setting to class to character arc, I'm like, I've seen this character before, and it's hilarious that it is here in this game.
Yeah, no, I think I did. Yep, I know what you want. I will say you're not too far from what I consider my second, because your moment is my moment, right? That moment was my moment. I was like, metaphor started now.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it ever since, bro.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it ever since. I'm just like, what a powerful moment.
Absolutely. That's when it started. I will say there was one more tearjerker for me. And that's when I was just like, okay, metaphor, wow, what are we doing here? Like in a good way, like, yo. Yeah. And you're getting close to that. You're not that far from that moment. And that's when I was like, now I just gotta see how the plane land. Like it's already those two moments was like, okay, I get it. The talk was justified.
Yeah.
Because at first I'm like, okay, yeah, good. But I was feeling the same way where you were. I was like, yeah, it's good, but it ain't like, oh my God, why is this the thing? You know what I mean? Like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It was just good, but then I was like, oh, I see the greatness now.
Yeah, it just this stretch sells you on everything from like cast to plot to villain to everything. You're like, I'm in now. Which I know people would be like, 60 hours in, right? It's like, obviously I was already way in. This is an Atlas game. Their JRPGs are second to none. Like, I was way in, but that love, I mean, to be fair, Persona 5 Royal, the reason I talk about the way I do is the final 15 hours of it, 130 hour experience for me. So technically I am in much earlier on a different level emotionally compared to their last game. And that is saying something. I'm like half of that. So yeah, this game is just really well told. You kind of have that freedom now of like, I'm doing everything. I'm balancing everything. A lot of social links are starting to wrap up now. Royal virtues are almost maxed out. So I'm getting there. I feel I'm getting there, but yeah, loving me some metaphor. And dude, it's just like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like this weekend is going to be dedicated to at least a couple of new games. And it's like, so much good shit coming out. It's killing me, bro.
What about that new ship theme, that gauntlet runner
theme?
Dude.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, you felt something's happening now. I'm like, oh,
I just
we're doing stuff.
That's when I was sitting there. When I was texting you, I was just listening at the whole time. I was like,
bro, and I love that you loved the what you call a village theme.
Yeah, that village.
Yeah, that village theme. I was just gonna say the village theme. That Jay. I was like, bro, there's like two more joints that hit so different. That soundtrack was copped immediately. Like bro, you got like two more bangers that you gonna be like, oh, what's happening here? Yeah. And they go, oh, there's one where they let your man get all his balls off. You know our man. Yeah. There's a song where they like, yo, you know what? They don't even think you nice, son. Show them how you do that. Freestyle that. Go ahead. Toast. There's what I was like, bro. I stopped it. I said, this is the greatest. That he is the night. I don't even know what is that considered. Like, is that a real form of?
It reminds me of Nier, where I'm like, I don't know what he's saying, and if it's like of our world or another, but
is it based on something? I have to research what these chants are, because when you look at the soundtrack, it's like Chief Aoki is whatever, and I'm like, okay, Chief, like, is this music? Is this a style of music that is already in existence that they're bringing into metaphor, or is this something that they have created a new flow? And I'm like, whatever that is that he is doing, it is the illest joint over. And there's a track where they let him go off. And I was like, oh, yo, this dude need an album by himself. That's how crazy he is. Yeah, salute to them.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get back to it. But first, I do want to finish Indiana Jones. So we've been playing Indiana Jones. I'm nearing the 20-hour mark, and I'm still going. And I thought I'd be done, but Machine Games was not lying. This is, as they said, easily their biggest game yet. For reference, you can beat Wolfenstein Youngblood, like or was it? Yeah, Youngblood. That was the second one. You can beat that in 8 hours, and I spent that time in the Vatican.
Bro, Vatican, right?
Yeah. So I want you to open up because I'm really curious. Like I know you were talking like Goaty energy and stuff. How is this delivering for you?
All right. So I'm being about the same part. I would say I'm in the area where it's very jungle based in right now, and it's boats, I will say. And it is man, it's amazing.
That's where I just got
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I will say where you are, I did the same kind of playthrough. Let's just get to it. First of all, came and coming into this game with very high expectation because obviously when I saw this game, this was the game that resonated me the most from Xbox's lineup. It surpassed Hellblade as far as the game I was the most excited for from Xbox Game Studios. So I'm firing this joint up. I'm like, all right, let's go. All right, so let's get right off the bat. This is a visually stunning game.
What are you playing on, by the way? I'm playing on PC.
I'm playing on console, Series X.
Okay, cool. So that's good. We have that difference.
So we got the different.
Yeah, I'm playing on Steam where everyone's freaking out about the PC specs. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I heard it's crazy outside. There's ray tracing in these streets.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah,
we'll talk about it. So I'm playing on Series X. So first thing you notice, first of all, accessibility options up the wazoo. They really do attention to detail there with things you can interact with, visibility, dead zones, control, all type of. It is a plethora. Graphical performance. There is no toggle. There's no performance mode. So I was like, is this what we doing here? But it's 60. 60 is the mode. And again, I'm playing on Series X. I don't know what Little Man is doing. I have not fired him up on Little Man. Cannot comment on him. I can only comment on the Series X version. So graphically, this game is stunning. Facial emotions, backdrops, lighting, textures, Indiana's jacket, the hat, Troy Baker. Again, I would be considered a casual Indiana Jones. I watched Temple of Doom. I watched most of the major movies. I wouldn't say I'm some hardcore Indiana Jones guy. I am not. But from what I remember and what I see, it is hard pressed for me to say that Troy Baker is not Indiana Jones as far as I'm concerned with his vocal inflection. Exceptional performance. So that's off the back. I will nitpick. We do know the decision with first person and they show third person cuts. On console, you comment if this happened to me. It doesn't happen all the time and it's very minute. But during the transition, I don't know if it's a judder or a frame pacing. I don't know what the technical term is because it doesn't happen all the time. It happens for like a split second and boom, catches right back up to where it's supposed to be. And again,
when you're going between the two?
When you're going between first person, because the game is overly cinematic. Indiana Jones interacts with a cup, they will have a cinema about him.
They have cutscenes for everything. It's crazy.
For everything. Yeah. The amount of production value on this game is outstanding. So because there's so many of them, let's say every 4 to 5 transition, you may see this little thing again on consoles, and I'm hoping it gets clear because it feels like a visual little thing, like a little minor little hiccup, but it corrects itself and it's instant. But I had to mention it because it was noticeable. All right, as far as the venue, what I realized with this game is the ultimate adventure and puzzle game. This is go out in the world, see what's going on. Use your sleuthing, use your detectiveness, right? And what I like is the game does not hold your hand sometimes on puzzles. Now, I will say main quest puzzles, yes. You'll pull out the camera. It'll be like, hey, if I put this together.
I emailed Bethesda for some help on one. And I was just like, I made a fool of myself. I think it might be bugged. They're like, yeah, send that. No, it's not bugged. I was like,
Bro, and this is the first game because of the puzzles. This is where the decision for first person, in my opinion, was the correct one because the interactivity you'll be looking at something and you'll figure out you'll have just enough notes on certain little aspects, right? Yeah, and you'll be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And I know which one you know that the St. Peter and St. Paul, and bro, and then I was like, wait a minute, and sometimes. If you don't find enough notes, you don't have full context on how to solve something. Also a shout out, the amount of care that they have in the side quests, the discoveries, and the mysteries is amazing. I love the mystery, and I knew when the game had its hooks in me because, man, I'm gonna be real. I am not the guy that goes around in games collecting every collectible. I'm never that guy. This game made me that guy because not only is it well done, it has tremendous lore around it. Indy's talking his way through the puzzles, you know what I'm saying, which adds to the flavor of it, but they are literally rewarding. Now, let's get to the controversy. The thing that I thought was interesting design choice is I thought when we saw the game, they were talking about adventure points, right? You do this, but there's no real skill tree system. There is, based on your adventuring, you will find skill books, and those books will unlock, hey, you may get more stamina, you may get more things with the whip or different features and gameplay changing things, which was an interesting design choice. It was a little jarring there, I'll be honest. I was expecting full skill tree because my only thing is sometimes they'll have like really powerful abilities in offbeat locations if you're the type that just beelines main story stuff. So that was what was the first thing that was interesting to me. But as far as the production value or the top level, because I'm going to get more deeper, the thing that I really like, the production value is so high, the story is so engaging. You could have fooled me and told me that this is an Indiana Jones movie that just never came out. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So those are my top level thoughts, but I will be remiss to be critical now. There are some things I have issues with. And again, as a person who came into this, looking at this as a potential Game of the Year contender, the problem with the Great Circle, I have to be fair, is if you're a person who wants balls to the wall action, this game ain't gonna
I was going to say, that's just not that at all.
You thinking you coming in here and you going to be, no. And I will say that as the gaming ninja, as the shinobi, as the Lord Cognito, my ninjaism is based on the idea of true stealth. All right. Great Circle, I love you, right? But if I tried to play this game initially as the purest of stealth, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to move the body out the way. Okay, I got it. I put my clerical suit on. I'm going through different areas restricted. I'm like, okay, this is fire, right? I'm doing things so carefully where I'm like, all right, there are times where the AI sight of vision, I'm like, bro, I know you saw me. You see the circle.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just hide behind the thing and now you all of a sudden confused. So I'm like, light stealth mechanics. Also, there are times where games where you do get spotted, like the captains, right? The captains be on. They be like, hold on.
Yeah, I know that it didn't get that costume to you.
Yeah, like, bro, you look like an unkempt priest. Let me go check you out. Let me see you. So the costumes have that thing where they don't always work, which I like. But what happens with indie on the stealth side is that there's enough instances where the stealth you could tell is casual and it can break immersion. And what I do got to come at y'all, Machine Game, is that the fact of the matter is, like, there was this one mission where they're like, hey, free this kid. He's trapped up in these barracks or what have you. And bro, the amount of approach you can do to enter this thing was super dope. The amount of ability, ways you could approach the scenario, right? I was like, I could sneak through underneath the floorboards and get into the prison that way. I can scale buildings on the top right-hand side or do a direct approach, get what they call it, the blackjack suit that I can look like one of the dudes, walk through the security gate. Okay, dope. But I chose the stealthy approach. I got stuck in, taking dudes out. Thought there was no stealth killing game, realized that you have to have an item in your hand.
And then you got to wait till he pulls that thing back. And then, I was just smacking dudes and I was like, why am I not knocking you out? And then I realized you had to wait. And I was like,
And you got to wait for the circle. There's a curse, like basically there's a circle and two lines, right? Yeah. When it turns into a plain circle, you're right behind them. When you have them, that's the time when it goes into the stealth animation to do it. I was expecting the visual big, like Avowed. Avowed let you know, it's time, pull out the energy. Yeah. I was hoping that they did that. And I was worried. I was like, there's no stealth kills in this one. What are we doing? But I was like, thanks to Addict, thanks to Rand. They were like, no, it's in there. I'm like, okay, you got to have a weapon. So you got the weapon. And I'll let you, we'll talk about the combat also. But I just want to talk about this one scenario as far as the stealth, because it was bugging me. So I did this thing perfect. Snuck in, didn't attract the guards, knocked people out, and did it undetected. Broke the kid out, everything love. I then now advance the story a little bit in the Vatican. As that happens, I go back to the camp. Everyone's respawned.
Yeah.
All the bodies that I worked in, I'm like, you broke the immersion there. Again, little things that prevent it from what I want for the perfection as a game of the year. So the stealth is still kind of half baked and the AI is half baked on certain things. But those are my top levels. I'm talking for a while. I want to get your thoughts on that. I also want to get your thoughts on combat, whip, traversal. I want to see how you felt and what's your experience. But I'm about 20 hours in, thoroughly addicted. The game right now has its flaws to me, but I know it has its hooks in me because I cannot stop playing and I cannot stop adventuring. And this is one of the rare games that I have completionist kind of energy with, which is what I'm not used to. So what are your top level thoughts and your experiences so far? And then we can bounce back and forth.
I watched all 3 Indiana Jones movies this week for the first time ever. And I adored them, dude. All 3 of them are incredible. Like I literally finished it. I was like, yo, that was better than Star Wars. And y'all know how I love Star Wars. But like, I was like, these are incredible movies. Even Temple of Doom, I really liked. I thought it was very entertaining. But like Raiders of the Lost Ark is probably my favorite. But Last Crusade, like it ends perfectly. Like they're all amazing movies. They're easily some of my favorite movies I've ever seen. And I'm like kicking myself because so many people have been like, you like Star Wars? You should check this out. Like, dude, John Williams soundtrack is there. Like Spielberg does an amazing job with these movies. Like, check it out. Of course, I love Harrison Ford. Check it out. Finally do. But oh my God, man. So good. I say all that because for those who are diehard indie fans, I think you'll be pleased to know that this is a direct follow-up in a lot of ways to what happens after Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's like, okay, what happened to Marion? Right? Like, there's some answers there. And I thought that was really cool because as someone who was watching movies the first time, I'm like, when you go from Marion, I'm like, oh, she's going to like, I liked Marion a lot. Like what's happening in movie 2? And she's nowhere to be found. I'm like, oh, she'll be back for movie 3. No, for fairness, I have not seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I have not seen Dial Destiny. I do not know what happens in the movies that are considered not as great as the original trilogy. So I'm working on those, but I personally, as a viewer, have those questions. And I feel like this game follows up on some of those emotions and humanizes Indy in a really interesting way that makes him captivating. On a story level, I love the adventure. There's moments this game feels like an Indiana Jones movie. Just like the mixture of like the supernatural and history and the Nazis and this occult fascination. Like it's really good stuff. And Indy's progressively figuring it out. It's really good. There are times I feel to make other characters relevant, they make Indy dumber than he should be. And that does need to be said. There's just times where like, there's just one line he said in the game. I was like, what? Where he was like, I'm out of ideas. And I'm like, nope, I'm a new fan. There's no fucking way he says that. There's no fucking way. Like he says, I'm out of ideas. I was like, no, like you just can't do that. So I think I'm no Indy diehard. I'm not going to try to sell y'all on that, but I will just say that I felt that, and I'm like, I'm wondering how the hardcore will take
feel.
Yeah. So I'll just say there are moments where they stupefy Indy a little too much for my taste. When I feel like in the movies, he's not like this Chad who knows everything, but he leads the charge. And I think a lot of times in this game, there's times they just make him like, well, what's going on? And I don't like that choice. I don't think that's a good narrative choice. Like everyone can just be on the same level. But I'm nitpicking like 2-3 parts that really just stood out to me, but I think those parts will stand out. That said, I love this game. This is one of my favorite games of the year, man. It is flawed in some ways deeply. Like its stealth gameplay, I think works for me, but bro, like the level design isn't perfect. You'll retread old ground, especially in the Vatican a lot. If you were going to do all that side content, the fast traveling system is pretty terrible. Yes. It has the same issue as Star Wars Outlaws where, hey, cool, a shovel. And it's like, oh, you climb up the ladder? Nah, I got to put that down now. I think the reason Indy gets away from it a little bit better than Star Wars Outlaws is Indy has so many options. You have the whip, you have your hands, you have tons of items at your disposal at every part of the level. So when you drop something, it's not like, damn, this gun's good.
True.
Like you'll get it later. So it matters to be fair, it matters a little bit less, but it still is that same weird stealth design decision. And it makes sense when you think about it, because Machine Games has always been a balls to the walls, first person shooter developer. So to go into this now, it kind of works against their strengths a little bit. Like, oh, you're making a full stealth game, really. I say all of that because despite those flaws, dude, I felt so robbed with Dishonored or with Redfall. But my Dishonored love and soul is so in heaven right now. You get to play as indie, first-person immersive sim vibes. I'm going to put on my Wehrmacht uniform. I'm going to walk into a Nazi camp. I'm going to take your money. I'm going to take all of your relics. I'm going to, the captain sees me. Hold on, I got to sneak around. Like, that is like my favorite shit, man. I love that. And I will say, I did not expect Indiana Jones to be this type of game. It works for my taste. I don't think it'll work for everyone, though. Like Cog said, it's not a balls to the wall action game. It's not. I mean, you'll get into scraps a lot. Like, you can fist fight anybody. You can make this game chaotic for sure. That's in your hands. And I didn't even say, like, it's not even a stealth game where it's not in your best interest. They did a really good job balancing it. We're like, damn, I got caught. All right, time to fight. And like, you can get out of that situation. You can run away and hide. You can knock someone out, whatever it may be. But it just is, I love just wandering, hitting all these side objectives and just getting deeper and deeper to the level. Like, I did not expect this game to be this big. I did not expect to be this hooked. I love how in world it is. Like, it's all very immersive. Like, the first person choice was a great decision in my eyes. I love just, you're wandering, you're walking around, like, you'll enter restricted areas, change your disguises, and you'll see like an animation, like you'll see the hat in his hand and it'll put it on. I love that sort of stuff. Like, as you're solving the puzzles, you're picking up these objects and interacting with the world. There's no puzzle formula like, oh, this is the pillar dungeon style, and this is this. Like, all of them are different puzzles that interact with history differently. And the painstaking detail they went into the environments in this game makes it so good. So the maps, you just open up your journal and the map is there and you're like doing this all in world. There's no real like menu surfing.
You see your icon moving on the map in real time.
Like, I love the adventure book system, because while I get like a traditional skill system, it makes sense. I see the idea here was like, we don't want them pausing the game. We don't want them to see menus. So things like fast traveling, like they are like, you go and interact with a signpost and they're not available, at least right now. They're not available via like, you open up your book and you're like, okay, I'm going to go here. Like, you have to walk to that fast travel point. That's what kind of works against the game a little bit of backtracking, a little bit of like, I got to run all the way over there. But because this game is so my speed, I love it. I love that, like, oh, I can hit a mystery here and you just get lost in it. I also really respect just how different it dares to be. I feel like there was a very clear formula they could have done. Tomb Raider exists, Uncharted exists, Indiana Jones inspires both of these, clearly. It was very easy to say, put your chest out. No, we're going to go ahead and take that crown back. I like that in the wave of tie-in games, in the wave of games that were inspired by Indiana Jones, that it has a very unique identity to it. I did not go into Indiana Jones and the Great Circle expecting an immersive sim, and I got one, and I'm like, this is really cool. But to my point, that accompanied by some of its design flaws means this won't really be for everyone. As much as I want to recommend it to anyone, it does mean that, like, I can't just sit out and be like, y'all will love this one. It's like, do you enjoy the slower pace? Do you enjoy open-ended level design, like a Dishonored, like crawling around? Like, every building has multiple entry points. Do you like disguise systems? Do you like fucking with the AI and like throwing something and watching him go chase it and then knocking his ass out? Like, do you enjoy that stuff? You will find a lot of fun here in indie. It's got a lot of heart, a lot of soul. You can tell they had so much fun with this game. It's got some genuine laugh out loud moments, genuine heartfelt moments. Like, even with those gripes I have, y'all know how I feel about writing. Usually that's where I go off the rails, but even I'm like, yeah, this is like a couple of weird caveats, but there's so much love in this game that I'm just very happy with it, man. Like, I didn't know really what to expect going in, because despite the gameplay showings they did, I felt like their last one that was 15 minutes long, I felt I had the best sense of what it was. But even like the disguise system, I'm like, oh, that's probably going to be like on rails in the main story. It's like, no, you can slap these disguises on whenever. And like, you don't just get them. You have to find them.
Yes.
And they're tough to find.
Tough to find.
I will just say, I apologize if I mispronounced it, like Giza,
Giza,
Egyptian environment. Bro, I had so much trouble
trying to find, bro. I searched that sky. I said, I'm gonna find this Nazi uniform, bro. It almost broke me trying to find that. When I realized what it was, I'm like, I'm so stupid.
I know, and that's when you know the game's good, because if you can have that look in the mirror moment and go, it was me. It was me, man. Like, I know you had it right there for me. You know, I found it inside like a tower. I don't know if they're in multiple. Yeah.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I was gonna say, they're usually in the same location.
The problem people will have is the disguises are in very specific positions.
Yes.
So you can't just like choke out a guard and be like, I'm gonna put this on. I think the better system probably would have been like a kind of durability for the disguise, where if like you take out someone cleanly and you put on the disguise, maybe the captain will notice you less. Versus if you like beat the shit out of him and he's covered in dirt and his uniform's messed up and you put that on, then the captain's going to see that, or the people are going to see that your disguise is going to break you a little easier. So you have those options. I think there's just a couple of design choices like in stealth and disguise that it's not on the Dishonored level. I don't want to sell people on it. It's Dishonored inspired, but like there are some design decisions that limit you a little bit of like an order of approach that's most intelligent. Like the map, like these maps are big as fuck, and you'll get dropped into them, and you'll be able to go anywhere, wherever. And like, dude, when I was in Egypt, I was like, all right, this big ass Nazi camp, I found like a worker's uniform. I did not belong here at all, but I was still like, I was abusing the bad AI. I was like, let's see if I can just crawl around here and find something. And you can definitely make life harder for yourself. I will say there is a right way to play the game in that.
Yeah.
It's probably smart to kind of run the main story and then hit stuff on the back end. I try to approach it like very open-ended, like, oh, I'm at the Vatican. I'm going to put the main story to the side. I'm going to do some field work. I'm going to do these mysteries. And I got through it, but I think I inflated the fuck out of my play clock because of it.
Did the same. Yeah. And you did the same. And I realized that, there are some things, because it's like the world is your oyster. The game is bigger than you think.
Yeah.
And I played it exactly like you. Like, okay, I know the main quest is there, but stubbornly, I want to go there.
It's so hard not to.
I'm like, yo, what's that? Let me see. And this game plays to his sleuthiness and his nosiness. And I love that about the game. Right? So I'm like, okay, what's going on? But to your point, there were times where, whether it be mysteries or puzzles, where I was just like, man, like, I'm so close, but I just don't have enough information or how to get into somewhere. And then a lot of it sometimes is advancing the story just a little bit. Then other things can open up something. But I wanted to give it back to you on that point. Because I mean, you guys seem to be playing the same way.
Yeah, like you try to take the game for yourself, and you can do all this content. Like the game's not stopping you ever. You're just making it, like, really difficult for yourself. So you kind of want to make sure you get all those disguises. I think that's the best way to do it. Once you have that, then you really, because that's when you're like, when I got to the Vatican and I got all my costumes, or I keep calling costumes, all my disguises.
Clerical.
And I was like kind of moving, and I was going around being who I wanted to be at any point. That's where I was like, oh yeah, like this is really hitting that sweet spot for me. So if you like a Dishonored style game, I really think you're gonna love it here. But I want to reiterate what Cog said, which is that side content, because they put a lot of effort into it. Like these are number one longer side quests, like bigger adventures. Like, like I dude, I was up till 5 a.m. 2 nights in a row on this game because I would like go in. I'm like, all right, one more dungeon, I'm going to bed. And I'm like, it's 3, and I'm like, yeah, those would be like 30 minutes. All right, it's a late night, but all right. Bro, you'll go in there and it's a whole stretch of puzzles and a narrative and cutscenes and character development. And this feeds into the main story. And I'm like, wow.
Bro, the side content has just as much cinematic and care as the main storyline stuff. Yeah. And to your point, I interrupt because me and you are playing the same way. I'm like, all right, one more thing. And then that thing turns into some discovery that now, oh man, I'm in this tomb that has its own set of things and adds more context to what's going on or certain characters. Sorry, I had to, literally has happened to me. And that's what surprised me about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Why this addictive quality, I just cannot stop. It attacks certain synapses in my brain and I just want to figure it. And you feel so satisfied when you figure something out, bro. Oh my God. The love.
I really appreciate, I'm curious what you feel. This game does not help you out. So the main story, like Cog said, you'll take out your camera and you'll snap photos, and you can. I bent the knee on some puzzles and snap photos. I was like 1, 2, 3. All right, that's how I do. All right, got it. Like there was, and some of them are like the answers are right in front of you. And I was like, oh, I'm just dumb there. But when it comes to like the field work, when it comes to the mysteries, especially, by the way, we have to clarify for those listening, we're in the review environment. So guides aren't available to us. We have nothing to lean on.
No reference point.
So you're just literally left to your own devices. But there's no like, I'm not going to lie, bro. Like my internal clock was kicking in. I was like, I've been here for like 15 minutes. Indy's going to say something soon, right? Like he's going to be like, maybe I should interact with that over there. Nothing, bro. They just leave you hanging. And I love that because you know what? I'm sure that was like one of the toughest decisions the game had to make was like, do we just let them figure it out on their own if they want to? And honestly, even with the hints you do, remember, we're talking about the camera. So you don't have like when Gina's with you, her being like, Andy, here, like after 5 seconds of you looking around, it's like snap the camera, take a picture, and then you get your hint because the game, you're like telling the game, I'm looking for a hint. I will say, Gina, good character, but they fucked up with like her little barks when she's like waiting for you in a doorway. Bro, there was at the end of the Vatican, she's like waiting for me at this door, and like there's like 3 notes in this room, and I'm just taking some time to read them all. She's like, Indy, through here. Indy, we have to go. Indy, come on. And bro, it's every 5 seconds. I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, shut the fuck up.
She can be a little chirpy sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
a little bit, bro. And
one time I was hoping she would say something where I was at, and I'm like, she ain't say nothing. I'm like, yo.
Bro, it's not like she's not even giving puzzle hits. She's just hustling me. She's hustling me at times, bro. I'm like, stop. Let me go. Let me read. I have all these diary notes here. Like, this is the game. Let me read this. Yeah, bro. That, like, it gets me so excited with how many notes are there, how many collectibles are there. What did you think about the kind of upgrade system? Like, as you go to more zones, you'll find unique items to that zone that you'll trade in to get like the adventure books, for example.
Right.
What did you think of that? Like, I know you talked about the adventure book system in general, but it kind of is all collectible driven. Like,
yeah.
As you explore, you get these adventure points. As you complete these quests, you get adventure points, et cetera, et cetera. But then that's not even like you can have thousands of adventure points, but you can't just level up. Like you have to go and find like missing medicine and trade it into a shop, and then they'll give you these books as a kind of return. And like, there's a ton of them. They're really good. Like, more HP regen, stamina regen, more health bars, more healing with like a bandage, that sort of thing. So what did you think of that whole system? Because I really liked how it was all in world.
It was interesting design choice because, again, I'm from the skill tree area and everything is shown to you and then you kind of pick and choose. And I get it, but I will say because of this design choice, it forced me to explore more and it made exploring rewarding. And I think for me, especially in the game, what you realize about Indiana Jones the Great said, this is a very stamina-based game.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You, even with the combat, which we'll get into, everything, grabbing a ledge, there's stamina holding on. Like, bro, you got to pay attention to all these things and you have to be cognizant of it. So these upgrades are very important. So I remember when I found the medicine, I found old girl and she's like, hey, if you can find some, bring it back. And then she's got the list of books. I remember in the post office, he had things that maybe help you try to find relics and certain things like that. So at first, I'll be honest, my initial thought when I first, I was like, oh, where's the skill tree? What's this book stuff? It was bothering me at first, I'll be honest. But as I played it, I'm like, nah, I do kind of like it because it's forcing me. It's rewarding my curiosity. It's rewarding me going off the beaten path. The only nitpick to it is, I think I had this conversation with Rand when we did our Swellcast on ILP, is that I will say that there are some perk decisions on placement that there's some, like, people tell me perks. There's a perk, I guess you can choke people out with the rope almost instantly, stealth kill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro, I'm like, I never got that joint. Yeah, I'm like, yo, I got other things where I can rope up, the big boys and do other stuff. And, so you see, we got different experiences based on what we found. And some of them be in the most random just because I was nosy and I'm in a camp and I'm working low. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, they don't broadcast them. They'll be like on a table in the corner of some random room. They're not like, oh, you got to the end, here you go. Like most times you'll find them, but like they're also just randomly placed.
Right. So I will say that. And I will say the other thing that was surprising, because I want to talk about it a little bit, is that right? This is machine games, so we know what machine games do, right? What's surprising to me, I was just like, this ain't the gun shooting game.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot the gun. You literally say, hey, guys, it's me.
Yeah.
And no, you see the red explanation, but that's when the AI is like, oh, word? You think that we gonna show you this ain't for you, bro. Mm-hmm. You don't want it because we gonna pull out guns. We're gonna surround you. We're gonna rush you. So what's funny is this is the first game when I find guns, I press X and turn it into a melee weapon.
Oh, I
am not trying to alert y'all on nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I read. Now, the other part of where I got to talk about the combat is that at first I was like, I got to see how this is. Like, it wasn't clicking yet. I didn't understand how to throw. Like, I was doing the parry, but what was happening is I do the parry, and then Indy was doing a shove after. I'm like, yo, nah, throw the right hand. What's going? So I talked to Addy. I was like, nah, fam. He's like, you got to throw the opposite hand of what was parried. Yep. And then when I was doing that, I was like, oh, now I feel like I'm boxing. One of the best things that leveled up my game was finding, because every zone, from my understanding, has these underground fight clubs that you can find. When I finally got that black shirt uniform and I got into that club and they got the arena, we was doing our fight club UFC, dudes around. I'm like, okay.
That's where you really get a feel for the mechanics.
That's when it clicked. Yeah. I started to get my combos together, my parries together, the charge ups, the timing. I started to realize, oh, you could dodge a blow, make them come with the comment. It then clicked because there's going to be people that's going to be like, nah, I don't like this comment. It's clunky. And at first I was one of them people. I was like, I don't know.
Oh, see, I just loved it for the sound effects. I was just like,
oh, you sound like you beating down somebody, and you feel satisfied when you standing over and they laid out. Like I ain't go for
do you notice when you punch them in the face, like how messed up they get over time, and the faces they make? Like I love knocking dudes out in this game because you'll like deliver that final hit, and you'll see them kind of like trying to stay on their feet. And you'll like, even when you knock them out, you can just be like that dirty UFC fighter and be like, I know your lights are out, but bam, like I'm still gonna hit you again. And just like really put them out. They all have like different expressions when you knock them out. Like I don't know if you took a second to look, but I really appreciated that. I was like, damn, they really got into the details with the hand-to-hand combat. It's really good.
It surprised me. Again, I think it's going to be divisive though, because there are going to be people who aren't going to be able to pick it up. And I'm not trying to disrespect them, but the game doesn't hold your hand with stuff. It just tells you basics. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't even, you know what it is? Addict had put me on. I wasn't even using, you could grab a dude up. Yeah. And be like, yo, come here. Why are you grabbing the shirt collar type joint? Like you catch them after school.
Them, shove them into someone else.
Yeah. Like it's a flow. It just took time. But I highly advise for anyone who's listening and you're struggling with the combat, find one of those outfits, get into one of those fight clubs. It is literally almost like a tutorial from easy to hard as far as the challenges that you will face, stuff like that. I do want to comment though on, I know we talk graphics, stuff like that, but I also want to talk on textures, bro. The marble in the Vatican, the beauty, the Indiana's jacket. Like I told you, like there's a level where I got to past Giza where it's jungle, bro. The rain effects, the drops on his hat. It is some of the most beautiful stuff you have ever seen. Technically, like they are really short. And the last thing I want to say in terms of what I love about the game, you go Vatican, you got Giza as a level, Egypt stuff. Every area where he's at, there's a very good attention to detail on culture. When you're in Father Jones, Father,
the acknowledgement.
The acknowledgement. Every NPC will have something to say as you walk past. And then Indy will always talk. Indy will always talk in the native language. Like, or not in Giza, he's saying, like, Assalamu alaikum. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, and then what I love about this game, again, when we talk about discovery and the addictive part, as a person who, loves tombs and lore, like, the Jesus puzzle was something that was so cool to me. The blood of and then you got to figure it out.
So well thought out.
So well done. And because it's first person, the interactivity, pouring things, putting things together. I know you saw it. Did you see that one towards the end before you get to Giza where you had to get the boat across the thing?
Yeah.
And the level of it, because they made this design choice, this is next level puzzles to me, and they are very clever and interact.
They're not like brain busters, is how I kind of feel.
Yes.
Like I always know the answer's there. Like they have a design to it. Like, okay, you've entered the room. All of the hints, everything you need, it's not going to be across the map. It's always going to be like right here in this area. Like anything you need to figure this out, whether it be a piece of paper you pick up or like on the wall, like it's there. And I think that puts you in a good position to succeed. Like they really handled the puzzle design super well because none of them are built upon one another. Like they're very individualized, but you know what's funny is when you think you got the answer immediately, you know you're wrong.
And you know you're wrong, and you're like, damn it.
Yeah, like a lot of it's like translating ciphers. I'm like, oh, obviously it's 8461. I'm like, it can't be. I just figured that out in 2 seconds. It's never your first answer.
Bro, and they're slick. They'll sometimes remove certain things from the clue to make you infer what the next step could potentially be to help you, and again, interact with it. It's just so well done. So I love the mystery. I love that it still maintains mysticism. Supernatural aspects. Yeah. I don't know if you got to this one part, but there was this one part.
Don't spoil. Just be safe.
I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to spoil. That when it's in Giza, and I'm just going to say it's a mini like boss encounter. I will just say.
Bro.
And it was some of the best use of sound.
Yes.
That I had ever seen. And I literally was
smart. I did not
so smart. I was scared for my life in this situation. I had pure terror in my heart.
Yeah.
It made me uncomfortable. And I'm just like, bro, what is this? What am I supposed to do here? And if you make noise, it is on. Like I know you know what I'm talking about. And that was a moment I said,
yeah, it was really good. It was really
final thought, because I know we waxing. The set pieces. Blockbuster movie, the biomes, when you get to certain biomes.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really stuff. So again, I can only speak. This is a game for me. This is a game that I knew I had my eye on, but it impressed me now more than I thought. And it's just a matter of now, how's it going to land with people? How are people going to play? How it may be divisive on certain levels, maybe.
Yeah, it was a game I was feeling. I was like, this is really good, but I could see a lot of reviewers taking issue. And I think it's fair. I can see a lot of reviewers taking issue with some of this game's offering, whether it's not executed as well. Like, I don't think it'll be as unanimous as a Wolfenstein is what I was thinking. Like and you know, part of it's because like it's so easy. Like Wolfenstein is like one route. You have these amazing stories right there in front of you. Indiana Jones, number one, is a reminder that, like, at least in my experience thus far, I think machine games, like, they still have storytelling chops. Like, they're still good. My God. You know, like, I think you just gotta take in all the side content to really get it all. But I mean, they still got it. So yeah, I just feel like this game will work with if you're into what we've described, like, oh, you like immersive sims, if you like puzzle solving, and I'm not a puzzle guy, but it's a fun type of puzzle solving. If you like that sort of stuff, I mean, like, I would just say, as a fan of his games, you could feel the Todd Howard influence on this game.
Oh yeah, Todd.
Yeah, you could feel. I know Raiders is his favorite movie, so when they started, like, I'll just say the way the game opens, I'm like, okay. Yeah. I was like, yeah, all right. I see him. Right. I was like, okay.
It was definitely Raiders. You felt that you feel the love and the care and the like. I just wish, Addict said it best we did. Like, he's like, man, I wish Halo would take notes from this. Like, just that love and the care for a franchise and an adaptation it oozes. You feel like Indiana Jones.
I feel like this is the next Guardians of the Galaxy, in that it's going to work for a particular group of people. And for those who it works with, like you and I and people who share our taste, are going to love this game and talk about it for years. But those who don't, I don't know if because I feel like most people have a respect for Guardians, but I feel like for those who don't, in the case of Indiana, it's going to be like, yeah, I don't really get it. Like, it's not that good. And I get it, because there's some issues there for sure. But I just really think people should try it out at the very least. It's got a lot going for it. And I think the best thing I can say for those who are like on the fence, like, oh, it shouldn't be first person, I think you will play this game and immediately be like, how would this even work in third person? Right. Like, it just is way better in how they made it. I agree. But yeah, I just think a very impressive game in a lot of ways. It's in my top 10 of the year. I really liked it. Or I should say am loving it. And once I finish it up, I'll deliver those final thoughts next week. But dude, 20 hours in a Machine Games title, I was not expecting that, bro. I thought it would be shorter than that.
I was 10 hours in the Vatican alone. I just couldn't help myself. I had to get everything. I had to find everything, do everything.
I left, not even like rush my review. I was like, because you can go back to previous areas, which is really good. So I was like, I'll go back later. And then like, there's these things you'll unlock in future zones that help you in the previous ones. And I'm like,
mechanics. Yes. Yep.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I have such an appreciation for the game, man. I really do.
They thought about it. They thought about the flesh it out for replay value. And I didn't ask you this question before we move on. How did you feel about the whip? Where are you at with the whip?
I like it a lot. Like
tell me your whip play.
Bro. I like when like someone's pulling up and you see them holding they're holding the baton and they think they got you and you just like, nope. I love that sort of stuff. I love using it in stealth. I think this is a perk you unlock where you can like grab someone by the ankles and kind of pull them in and be like, get the hell over here. Like I love that one. So yeah, I've enjoyed the whip. Obviously it's used a ton in traversal. I wish it weren't contextual as in like, oh, you can press RB and hit that. I wish it was a little more open-ended again, I think this game is like, if we're doing number scores and player creativity, I think it's like a 7 out of 10. Like I think it's got a few elements. Like if you opened up the level design just a little bit more, you opened up player choice a little bit more, and then you let that whip just go fucking crazy. Like I could scale any building, not just specific buildings. Then we're talking a whole different ball game. Yeah. So I like the whip though. I think its implementation was good overall. Did you like it?
Yeah, no, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, obviously, it took me a while just to get used to the traversal, how to swing, because you could do so much. You can halfway climb up it. You could use it to actually scale a wall. Yeah. You know, I was getting used to the traversal and making sure I don't fall off things because there's moments when you got to get your Spider-Man on from certain things. And you like, okay, you better know how to attach and detach correctly. Yeah. So that was that. But when I was playing a game so like this and not really like, wait a minute. Why not just whip the thing out of his hand, target it? You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes too.
I be forgetting the whip is a useful tool in combat and as well as other things. Where it really got funny though, I was doing too much nosiness in Giza and I saw a pack of wolves and they was tearing me up. I said, wait a minute, man, I'll pull that whip next time I saw that dog. I said, and the dog was like,
dog was like,
I got into this submissive position. Stop that. Yeah. Stop that. And I made them go the other way. And I made them first. You can whip dogs and it's kind of funny.
It's crazy, bro. Like right away, because the game, like I got attacked by a pack of 3 of them. And I was like, what the hell do I do? I can't fist fight dogs. And they're like, use your whip to scare them away. And I was like, get away from me. And they just sprinted off. I was like, damn, okay.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I'm really loving this game so far, man. And all I was saying, like I said, the spoiler cast, I haven't ended yet, but from my understanding, I'm in the jungle area. I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 biomes left. And all I asked is, Addict did finish it in our spoiler cast, and we had Red on ours, and he finished it. And he just said, man, you're not ready for how well the plane is landed narratively.
Interesting.
And that was all I care. I was like, man, because I know some people it might be divisive on the gameplay or certain aspects of certain design choices, but like, did they nail it? And they were like,
yeah, since I'm near the end now, I mean, we're recording this, it's like 7.
Yeah.
The embargo doesn't live for another 24 hours. I might see if I can finish it in time for membership. I'm curious if we can do it. I know for the show we couldn't do it, but I'm curious if I can do it because that's like the last hanging thing for me is like right now I'm like, this game, I love it. I think it's incredible, just flawed. But if like they land that story and there's some heartfelt emotion there, I'm like,
we gotta see. We gotta see
up the list, man.
We get the same boat, but I don't want to rush. Like where I'm at right now, I got a boat.
Now I know I can go back. I'm kind of like,
yes. I see what you're saying.
Team like, let me just finish the story out, get all my disguises, and then just have fun.
I'm telling you, they gonna pull you in. I thought I was gonna do the same thing, bro. I had the same mentality once I did that. I was like, and I started playing, and I'm like, damn. But that temple right there, though, what is going on?
Yeah, the perks you miss out on.
And I'm like, I just can't do it. So it's like there's a part of me, not that I'm going to go 1,000% completionist, but there's just certain things I just can't because it adds so much flavor to the game.
Yeah,
and
I'm like, you could put easily 30 hours into this game.
Easy.
Yeah. I'm very surprised. It is a fair point in the argument for people who are like, why do games have to be so long? I did not expect, I thought this game would be 20 max. But The fact that I have 20 and I haven't maxed out like any of these locations. I left the Vatican with stuff to do, bro. And I was at the Vatican for like half my playtime. You know? Insane, dude. So
Insane.
there's a lot here. And they don't really guide you to any of this stuff. All this is found through natural exploration. Like you pick up a diary note. It's someone investigating like a nearby ruin or something. And they're talking about it. And then it gets marked as a mystery. And you'll go there into this ruin and you'll find a puzzle there. And you'll get these adventure points. Like it's a really good organic flow, man. I love the game. I really do. So I definitely recommend if anyone's listening, like, do you download it on Game Pass? Of course.
Of course.
But I even say like buying it. It's a good choice right now. Like it's just
absolutely.
You know, I know I haven't finished it, but I was like, this game is just fucking. You really get a lot of time out of it, and all of it's been really well spent. You know, it comes with a couple of caveats in its flaws, but otherwise, I'm loving it. Time to get into our one item on the news, and it's a small one, all things considered. So it's a final drop for 2024 Game Pass. Xbox has confirmed nothing else is happening after this until 2025, or they guess they'll renew some deals. So what's arriving on Game Pass from December 4th to the 10th, as well as January 2nd and 7th? I got the answer for you here. On December 4th, you're going to get Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled for all tiers of Game Pass, might we add. So this includes the kind of lower tier Game Pass tier, but you also get DayZ on Game Pass Core. You get Dungeons of Hinterberg on Xbox One. You get Forza Motorsport on Game Pass Standard, Goat Simulator on Game Pass Core, Haunty on Game Pass Standard, Humanity on Game Pass Standard, and then EA Sports WRC is available on Game Pass on December 5th. For Series X and S, PC, and Cloud, as well as Overthrown entering game preview. Obviously, everything we just talked about earlier with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle arrives on Game Pass December 9th. That's on Series X and S, PC, and Cloud. You can also pay for that early access if you'd like to start the game 3 days early, if that interests you. And then Wild Frost comes out on Game Pass December 10th on console, PC, and Cloud. Meanwhile, January, just 2 early editions in Carrion, which is on January 2nd on console, PC, and Cloud. And Road 96 arrives on Game Pass on January 7th on console, PC, and Cloud. Meanwhile, leaving Xbox Game Pass to start the new year, December 31st, you have Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Close to the Sun, Humankind, Lego 2K Drive, McPixel 3, and Party Animals, all making their exits. So, Cog, I kick it to you. What are our thoughts and feelings on the final drops for Game Pass, both arriving and leaving?
Yeah, shout out to Crash Team Racing. Heard good things, but I've never really played it. People, I know like some diehard Crash Team Racing guys. Mm-hmm. They're like, yo, bro, this is it versus Mario Kart. Got energy. Yeah. So I want to I'm just curious about it because I never played that. I want to see what's up with that. Dungeons of Hinterberg Xbox One is very interesting. How much player base is still over there that we still, you know, and we want to placate to that. That's interesting. And to me, the biggest one for me is actually Forza Motorsport because Game Pass Standard, right? And remember that the whole delineation about when they're going to get it. Like, remember, like you don't get all the things of Ultimate, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're starting to form a timeline where it's like, okay, we could try to, because Motorsport, I believe, came out October of last year. Yeah. So if we're going by this estimation, this time frame, is it a full year before standard guys get, you know, a first party Game Pass Game Studio offering, you know, because they were not afforded. Remember, that was the controversy when they split up the tiers and how it was going to work with day and date. Remember, kind of thing. So that is interesting to me that they're listing Motorsport as standard. So yeah, those are the ones that stand. And of course, you know, indie and stuff like that. But you know, those are the ones that stand out to me. Anything for you as far as coming?
I do want to check out Lego 2K Drive. I heard that's actually really good, and I love the Lego games. And this one apparently people really have a lot of fun with. So I wanted to give that one a look. Otherwise, Blaze Blue leaving Cross Tag Battle. That's a great game. Think people should check that out before it goes. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, I know, is a big deal. It's cool. It's available for all console tiers. But yeah, a pretty quiet one to round things out, with the obvious one being Indiana Jones, which is what I think everyone's really looking at, talking about. And so I think that greatly sets up our Game Pass pick of the week, sir. It's all you. What do you have picked out for us?
Surprise, surprise. Yeah, Indiana Jones in the Great Circle, man. Yeah, definitely, definitely recommend it. I want to shout out Machine Games. I want to shout out Todd Howard because I love what Todd has been doing in the space with IPs that he loves. Obviously, I think about the Fallout TV series, right? And I think about the love and attention and detail of his direct involvement with it, right? And you see that thing oozes Fallout. We're like, yes, this is what we wanted the Halo show to be. You know what I'm saying? Like this type of love and care. And you can tell his influence, his passion for Indiana Jones, and to basically consult and work with Machine Games. Obviously, it's a project that's been in a development for a while, and that him finding the perfect partner to make it happen. And also Disney, let's be honest, trusting their favorite, famous IP to be in his care and also be a canon storyline after the events of another movie, right? So that to me is super cool. And again, we talked about, the flaws and stuff like that that may not resonate with certain people, right? But if you want a sense of adventure, if you want a sense of discovery, if you want true exploration, puzzle solving, immersive sim aspects to, and you're missing that flow, this is going to be the game for you. And I do feel, Indiana Jones is the daddy, right? To the Lara Crofts and the what you call Uncharted, the Nathan Drakes. They are inspired by this character. So you said it best. I love the fact that they went first person because you have to establish yourself as something else. You don't want to be. They copied you, and you don't want to copy them when you jumped in the video game space.
And if you do it worse, it's going to look really weird. You look Indiana Jones. Yeah,
you're gonna look wild crazy if you do it worse. So to me, the level of interactivity, I never thought first person puzzle game could be this fun and this clever and like just Indy sticking his hand in something, scorpions around his leg, and like you feel the sense of claustrophobia sometimes in a tight tunnel. And I love pulling out my torch and I'm venturing. You get uncomfortable.
Lighter of all time.
The shortest lighter of all time.
Yeah, you hold it short and somehow it's like lighting a whole cave. You're like
burning down branches and little things to get through. The crevice crawling is hilarious in this game.
Yeah,
and he's doing the elbow and the thing, and the quips, the personality, the one-liners. It's an indie-ass Indiana Jones game, and it shows. So I got to shout out Machine Games for attempting this. I got to shout out God Howard for doing this. And it's going to be, I know it'll be maybe polarizing for some people, but if you like this style of game, I highly recommend Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I am absolutely enjoying my time with it.
Yeah, it's really good to see Machine Games kind of back and releasing something and knowing it's good. Because their last game in Youngblood wasn't good, and they've been gone since then. And so for them to come around and really, at least in my opinion, deliver something really great is exciting. There's nothing here that makes you look at it and go, oh boy, Wolfenstein 3. I don't know. Like, I feel great about Wolfenstein 3 moving forward. So it's a good sign for the studio's future. And I hope the game does really well. Like, I don't know what the global interest in a major Indiana Jones game is. Again, we've kind of seen with like even Star Wars, like it just doesn't have the appeal that it once did. But I hope this is a tie-in game that performs well because it kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy dares to surprise you in the things it'll do. And in those puzzles and in those more heartfelt moments that, I mean, the movies were known for, but to get that in a game, it's the same way I was kind of surprised with Guardians being like, oh, this is really well written and this is really heartfelt. This is just brilliant. I love this so much. And so that same feeling came back. I just hope it's on a bigger scale and sells well and performs well, but we'll see.
Absolutely. We'll see. And shout out. I would be remiss if I did not shout out. I love, what's his name? Emmerich was Voss.
Oh yeah.
Voss commands the screen, bro. Yeah. There's some moments with his interactions with his own people that I thought were like brilliant. Yeah. And the way he talks and that German start flowing and he get in his bag and his manipulation and he without spoiling, there's some indie in him, like almost like a dark path indie in a way with certain things. But I just love their interaction. But when he comes on screen, I mean, look, Troy did his thing. Don't get me wrong. I just love this antagonist. So
yeah, Machine Games has always done villains really well.
Yes.
You know, when you think of New Order, New Blood, like what they did with their antagonists, particularly New Order, just that captivating, in your face, menacing,
Dr.
yet intelligent, evil, spirited characters. They do such a good job with them, and that's like fully fleshed out here, right?
Oh, yeah.
For an even longer time. These characters actually have time to build.
Yeah,
you're with them longer. You see, like there's that one part with Voss in the Vatican that's just, I think his performance is so menacing there.
So menacing.
Yeah, he
had a certain person under pressure.
Yes.
Somebody was under pressure.
Like, you're going to do what I say.
There's no this how's going to go.
Yeah. It's really, really good. So
really dope.
I hope you check it out on Game Pass. It at the very least deserves that, but I think it is worth the full price of admission.
Absolutely.
But, you know, at the end of the day, game is a coaster. So buying it physically for my physical bros out there,
yes,
don't bother. Don't bother.
You gotta worry about that. It's definitely coasting.
Wait for that PlayStation release if that's what matters to you, because maybe it'll be better over there. Yeah, maybe it'll be better over there.
Game Pass free $99 for now. You can't wait.
Absolutely. Well, Cog, that's our Game Pass pick of the week. That's our show for the week. A little bit of a tighter one, but no doubt next week will be a massive one. So we're definitely going to have to get into everything that happens with the Game Awards and all the news. And of course, finishing up Indiana Jones, some thoughts on that. And we'll see how far I get in Metaphor after that. But nonetheless, it's been a great episode, sir. And I think we got to do Dr. Jones, DD.
Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. We got to do that because I think we've done Indie DD before.
Yeah. Dr. Jones.
Yeah. Dr. Jones DD. If you got this far into the episode, we'd love to hear from you. Use the hashtag Dr. Jones DD. Tag us on Twitter. I'm at G7Status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. You can find us there. If you don't use social media, we get that. Use it in the comment section. Hashtag Dr. Jones DD. Let us know your thoughts. Cog, as we wrap things up, any closing thoughts from you, sir?
Yeah, fun episode, man. I love the talk, and even like the social media talk. That was kind of funny. I like that question. We had some good help with both write-ins. Yeah, fun show, man.
Good one.
Loved it. A lot of stuff. I forgot the Game Awards was coming. That's how in the bubble I've been. I forgot.
There's been like no hype for it. I feel like it's just. I feel like we're famous last words. I feel like we're setting up for kind of like dud year. I'm just like, yeah, like when Jeff's not talking.
Yeah,
you know, he probably knows he doesn't got anything. So
we'll see.
We'll see. Hope for my man. Hope he's got something for people, because otherwise, I mean, last year he got blasted. So I'm hoping this year is a better show.
Yes.
We'll see. But
that's what
we'll be here to talk about it next week as we round out another year here at Last Stand Media. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts on Indiana Jones down below. Take excellent care of yourselves. And we will see you in the next episode of Defining Duke, episode 206. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.